Welcome everyone to the PJ's Cast. I'm your host Pierce, alongside of my good pal Dylan, and it's happened. He finally did it. 5 straight 80-point seasons for Artemi Panarin. Let's go! Let's fucking go! Oh, and Alex Ovechkin broke a record that no one thought would ever be broken. But let's go! 5 straight 80-point seasons for Artemi Panarin. Woo! So we've done this podcast for almost 5 years now, and as a matter of fact, in 5 days it'll be our 5th-year anniversary of doing the show, and we have had many segments on the podcast where we talk about how horrible the sport is. Well, not sport, but the league, the people that run it, the people that work within it. It's so hard to find good stories that come out of the NHL, and here is a moment like again that no one ever thought this was going to happen. No one ever thought a Wayne Gretzky record was going to be broken, and it presents itself in the way of Alex Ovechkin. Like coming into this year, we thought, oh, maybe he has an outside chance to do it, but like realistically, maybe he does it next season, and he gets off to a great start, but then has his first really major injury of his career, keeps him out. It's like, oh, we're probably gonna have to wait till next year. Comes back earlier than expected, and then down the stretch just goes on this insane heater and breaks Wayne Gretzky's record of 894 goals. He hit 895 yesterday against the Islanders. He almost hit it against the Blackhawks. I guess we'll kind of touch a bit on more on that later, but literally Spencer Knight turned into prime Dominik Hasek. But yeah, congrats to Ovi. And like again, for all like the horrible people that run the NHL and work within it, I sometimes think as fans we don't deserve this because of once and like maybe not a lifetime, because like the last time this happened was 30 years ago. So like once in a generation thing happened, a record like that being broken. Like how many records across the four major sports have been broken in this last year? Like I'm thinking last year Otani hit 50-50. That was cool, but like I
LeBron's
don't
been
know.
breaking point records, but that's a
Yeah.
little different.
Well, yeah, he's LeBron, yeah.
Um,
But I just actually, but that's all I've been seeing on Twitter is actually. Like
dude,
there's this
literally. Oh
truly
my gosh.
amazing moment, and all we can be like is, oh well, Mike Bosky was better goal per game, and like, oh well, Sidney Crosby has more points, and it's like we complain about the sport so much and for right reasons, but then there's this truly amazing moment. It's like, no, like let's talk about other players instead of enjoying this moment for truly what it is. One that, like it's probably going to be a long time until this is broken again. Like again, we can talk about, oh, Austin Matthews might break it, but you truly have to appreciate like Ovechkin playing for almost 20 years, having to score at 50 goal pace. Like there was this tweet from 2014 saying that no one's gonna break. I forget what his name was. It's like no one's gonna break this goal record because you basically have to score at a 50 goal pace, like for 20 years. And Ovechkin has missed the first season he was supposed to play due to a lockout in 04-05. He missed like I think 35 games in the 2012-2013 shortened season. Time was cut due to COVID. I think there was like 15 or 20 games or whatever it was, and then there's another like 48 game season. And here he is at the mountaintop, almost 40 years old, 895 goals. Like he can do whatever the fuck he wants now. Like he's done it all. Calder Trophy, Hart trophies, Art Ross trophies. I don't think he said 10. I think he's got 8 or 9 Rocket trophies, Conn Smythe Stanley Cup champion, and now like the cherry on top, he is the all-time goal record getter. And like people are like complaining like, oh, but this, but that. Like, can't we just enjoy this amazing moment? And it's like we complain about there's not enough of that in hockey, and when it does happen, we got to make it about something else instead of like appreciating the moment for what it truly is. The one tweet I always think about is like hockey fans don't deserve anything because whenever like Travis Yost puts out a horrible food take on Twitter, like everyone like loses their minds. And I just always think about that tweet when it comes to stuff like this. But anyways, I'm rambling on. Like I didn't watch the game, but I did see the notification on my phone. I think Elliot Freeman was just like 895. So were you watching the game? And if you weren't, I still want to hear your thoughts on what you think about this.
Um, I caught a bit of the game. I didn't get to see the goal live. I had to go to work. So as soon as I parked my car, I got like a million notifications.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it when we were talking about it yesterday. Like no offsides, no goalie interference
That was the
crap.
best
Just
part about it.
about as vintage of an Ovi goal
Mhm.
as you could have.
Yeah.
Did it in the exact same amount of games as Gretzky too, which I think is pretty funny. And then on top of that, like you said, Spencer Knight shutting the door. Like, this record's not getting broken on me. I don't care how many times he gets left
Not on
open in
my
the final
watch.
2 minutes.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting that they stopped the game halfway through to do a
Yeah.
whole ceremony mid-game, which I guess it makes sense. But, I mean, talk about taking the life out of a building for the Islanders. I mean, they still won, but
Yeah. The only goal that they allowed
right?
was that
Oh my
Ovechkin
gosh.
goal.
But like you said, it's a record that probably isn't going to get broken for a long time. People were doing the math for Matthews. I think he's about to get to 400 right now, which is nuts to think about because he's like 26. But
Yeah.
he's got some hard miles on there right now, and he hasn't had the luxury of Ovechkin of just being healthy his whole career. But like, I
Russian
went.
machine never breaks. We always say it.
Yep, and I went and looked at his year by year, right? Because I remember the first year I was on this podcast, I think we had the conversation because it was the first year Ovechkin didn't hit 30 goals. He had a down year. He missed some time. He only finished with 24 that year. And we were looking at like what the trajectory was to get to Gretzky, right? I remember having this conversation with multiple people. And it's like, yeah, he has to average 40 the next 4 years, which seems like it's nothing. But with the way Ovechkin was going at that point, it didn't look like it was possible. Gets 50 the next year, big jump, 42. Then he gets 31 last year. And we're sitting there like, okay, like it's inevitable. Like he's going to play till the wheels fall off. Gets that giant injury, like you said, comes back, scores at about a 60 goal pace to end the year, which I don't think anyone's talking about. Like he's got 69 points in 61 games
Nice.
as a 39-year-old. I think it's like the highest point per game season since like Gordie Howe for that age group. I have to imagine Sidney Crosby will be joining that in 2 years, but you never know. Just an all-time great career. It was really, I think what really set it in for me was Backstrom was in the crowd, and it really stinks that his health just couldn't last long enough to be there for that. I mean, he was there, but not on the ice. He got reincarnated by Dylan Strome, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But just a great longevity of a career. Awesome that he did it all with one team too. I think that's not going to get stated enough. Leads the league in power play goals, leads the league in empty net goals. Hilarious. And he's like 250 hits away from leading.
Oh yeah, you bring up that stat. He also leads, has the most game-winning goals in NHL history, and he broke that against the Blackhawks.
Awesome. Oh man, but yeah. Then that game Friday was electric to say the least. I think the Hawks got their first taste of what was actually competitive hockey. I think the Caps played down to their competition a little bit, but that's
to start.
I'm not gonna lie. Watching them the last week, I think this is just how they're playing right now going into the playoffs. So, I don't know if it's concerning. I know they have some injuries. Protas got hurt in the Hawks game. That's concerning, but it's a great moment. But I do want to touch on what you were talking about earlier, which is it doesn't seem like anyone wants to enjoy that moment because it's Sidney Crosby actually has more points in less games. He's so much better. He's so much more good looking. And like I know people are joking about that, but there's people that are dead fucking serious about that. And it's just like, and there's the people that are like, dude, the how does this affect the Leafs crowd came out of nowhere, and like I knew it was coming. They were like, one former Leaf tripped another former Leaf, and that's why Ovechkin broke the record. It always comes back to the Leafs.
That's more of a troll though. Like that's more funny. Like the other takes more serious.
That one I'm not talking about. It's more people already being like, well, Matthews can break this. It's just like you do realize he's 500 fucking goals away. Put that into perspective real quick. Actually, yeah, he's at 395. He's 500 fucking goals away. And you're like, he's going to break the record. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like, God, just have a sense of perspective for 5 seconds, anyone in the NHL. And then, like, people were unironically like, this guy could break the goal record. This guy could break the goal record. Guy, the reality is no one's close. And no one's going to be close for at least another decade. Probably more.
Yeah, honestly. 10, 15 years probably, because Matthews is what, 20?
26.
7. Yeah, so like it's probably at least 10 years, 10, 15 years before we're having that. Like we're probably close to 2040.
Yeah.
We
And
probably one Vladimir Guerrero Jr. contract away from talking about that again.
I know you woke up happy as a clam this morning.
Oh no, I went to bed happy as fuck, and I woke up happy as fuck as well. Like I was just about to head to bed, and I have my notification sound, so I'm like, okay, I'll just check it one more time, and I just see X, click on it, and like all the Blue Jays insiders and baseball insiders, like, oh, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. signs a 14-year, $500 million contract, and I'm like, I didn't even know what to do. I'm just like, ah! And I just went to bed, and then I woke up, and I was still like, ah! So yeah, I have a little extra pep in my step today, but anyways, enough about the Blue Jays. How can we make this about the Blue Jays?
How can we make this about the Blackhawks? Oh yeah, that's what it's
Yeah.
called. We're just gonna start talking about him right now. So I'm done talking about Ovechkin. It's awesome. I'm happy for him. One of the best players of all time. Love the iconic celebration of the dive. That's awesome. So beast. I'm not gonna lie. In my head, I was like, does he do his signature celebration, which is like the drop to one knee and fist bump, or he's like, nah,
Or
we're
like
going full dive.
the stick is too hot.
Hot stick would have been nice. Hot stick would have been nice. But
throwback there. For the
just
kids.
there's never going to be another Ovechkin. I think
Nope.
that needs to be stated. Most personality I think you're ever going to get out of a superstar in this league.
Yeah.
Always
feel like we
authentic.
don't-
Never.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I feel like we don't appreciate that enough. Like, there's not like Ovechkin does whatever the fuck he wants, and like we don't appreciate that enough. Again, for a sport and a league and its fans that were like clamoring for any kind of personality, and it's like Ovechkin does something, and we're like, no, like what about this player? And we don't appreciate like all the good he has helped grow this game. Like both Crosby and Ovechkin are going to be interlinked forever. Like 0506 saved this league, and they've done so much of the heavy lifting still. Like we can appreciate all the talent that's in the NHL right now. Like we have the young wave, like we now have Connor Bedard, we have Macklin Celebrini, we have Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, like Nathan McKinnon in their prime, and then we still have Ovechkin going at it. Crosby got a freaking hat trick the other day too. Like they're still going strong. They're still point per game players. I think the best part out of all this is not like Ovechkin just limped into this goal record and like the Capitals are like rebuilding bottom of the barrel. Like the Capitals are a legitimate cup contender. I don't know if they're going to win the cup, but like they're way ahead in their division. Like they might win another President's Trophy, and like Ovechkin, if he continues this torrid pace, might get another 50-goal season. So there's so much talent in this league, but like yeah, Ovechkin is just truly like a once in a lifetime player. Like he's his own kind of player, and it was awesome to see that.
You know, people always talk about what player you'd want to see in a different era, and like, yeah, Gretzky in the modern era, I think would just absolutely obliterate everyone. I think he'd average like 350 points a season if we're just going off of like the way this works. Obviously hyperbolic, but not hyperbolic. Alex Ovechkin would have fucking dominated Gretzky's era.
Dude, he gets
that's
like
something I would have
1,200
loved to
goals
see.
probably. Yeah.
Dude, honestly. And on top of that, it's not like his play style would have not been effective in the 80s. He would have murdered people. He would have actually been able to get away with murder on the ice with his stick and with his body. It's actually crazy.
Do you want proof of that? Do you remember the 2010 Olympics where Ovechkin just fucking crushed Jaromir Jagr? Like, it's not like he crushed like Alex DeBrincat out there. Like, he crushed a guy who was basically the same size. I'm like 6'3", 230 pounds.
And I think this is another reason why I just keep wanting to harp on that. Can't talk. That he's a once in a lifetime talent. I don't think we've seen a prospect that even touches what Ovechkin was coming out as a prospect in terms of just the uniqueness of having an all-time shot while also being just a fucking force in terms of just physicality. And it's usually nowadays a prospect's got one or the other. You know what I mean? Like he's like in reality, like this is the way I look at it in terms of like modern day. He's like if you morphed Steven Stamkos with Matthew Tkachuk. If you put that shot with that physicality together, that's Ovechkin. You just don't see that. You just don't see that. You don't see that in prospects anymore. You don't see that in young NHL players. Like, I don't even think there's a fucking comp to Ovi. I think that's why people gassed up Laine so much, because Laine was at a time, it looked like he could have been that.
Yeah.
But there's just not going to be another one. He's just a genetic freak. Both of his parents are Olympians. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there won't be another one until his kid hits the league, dude.
Yeah, that's true. Is it Sergey, I think?
Mm-hmm. Sir, you hear Sergey like ask for Ryan Leonard's stick after he got his first career goal. Bro does not care. He's like, give me that shit, bro. But
okay, so Sergey was born in 2018, so pay attention for the 2036 draft class.
We will be waiting. Connor Bedard needs someone on the tail end of his career.
When he's 31 years old. Let's go.
Holy shit, he'll still be so young. Oh my god.
Speaking of that, so if we kind of want to like end this segment, like there's so much to talk about Ovi. You talked about how kind of unique Ovechkin was, and like a sport like Canada that's so focused on like the next one. Like obviously there was Wayne Gretzky, then you had Mario Lemieux, then you had Eric Lindros. Unfortunately, he never like reached the level of Lemieux and Gretzky, and then you had Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. I felt like there wasn't much for that. Like, oh, Ovechkin is the next one. Like, again, he was just kind of his own guy, this guy in Russia, the superstar in Russia, and he comes over and, like, completely transforms the Washington Capitals franchise, who, like, became a regular, like, perennial contender, winning divisions, winning President's Trophy, and, like, thank God they won that cup in 2018, because I would have hate to have the discourse, oh, well, Ovechkin did all this, but no cup. Ovechkin went into a bar, but he couldn't get any cups or whatever. Like
he couldn't get a drink, and he couldn't pour it in his. Just the worst jokes ever. Think of the most unfunny person you know in 2014, and they were laughing their ass off at that joke. Chicken joke.
So we will get we will get to the Blackhawks, but I just wanted to read off some like cool milestones. So Alex Ovechkin's first goal was scored on October 5th, 2005. He hit goal number 100 October 12th, 2007. Hit goal number 200 February 5th, 2009. Hit goal number 300 April 5th, 2011 at Toronto. Number 400 December 20th, 2013 at Carolina.
I don't know why I was so just had to Toronto, thank you very
Number
much.
500 January 10th, 2016 against Ottawa. Number 600 March 12th, 2018 against Winnipeg. Number 700 February 22nd, 2020 against New Jersey. So like right before COVID hit. And yeah, you know where this is. Yeah, you know where this is going. Number 800 December 13th, 2022 against the Blackhawks because he got a hat trick. Number 894
like
against the Blackhawks. Yeah, where he tied the record. And then April 6th, 2025, 895 when he broke the all-time goal record. Exactly 21 years after the Capitals won the draft lottery. So
filing a lawsuit against Ovi for stat padding against the Hawks. Blame.
Can't believe, like, who has it worse than us?
No one. Don't ever get it twisted.
Exactly. Anyway, speaking of which, we can get on to the Blackhawks now. I feel the best way to tie this together is like to put in perspective like how great Ovi's greatness is. He's been doing this for 20 years now. He was doing like he scored his first NHL goal before Artem Levshunov was born. Like Connor Bedard was like a few months old. Like that just shows you how long this team has to go until they are a great team. And I know there's a lot of hype around the Blackhawks right now. It's like, oh, there's so much promise. Like Frank Nazar's come up, like Connor Bedard, even though he's having a bit of a sophomore slump, there's still so much potential there, untapped potential. All the defensemen are coming up now. Artem Levshunov has looked the part. Sam Rinzel has looked great in his first few games in the NHL. It's like everything's coming to focus in this picture. You know, the lighting is good. The dialogue is good. Everyone remembers it. And cutscene, we still got 2 hours of movie left to film. Like, there is still so much to go before this team is, like, even a playoff team. And I feel that's why I got so mad. Like, I think the biggest misstep with Kyle Davidson so far has been the coaching. Back in December when they fired Luke Richardson, I was like, okay, I don't really have anything against them firing Luke Richardson. To me, it was like, if you're going to bring up Sorensen or get another head coach with no NHL experience. You're basically doing the same thing. I thought that was a moment for them to, get a good head coach, maybe Montgomery, but that didn't happen. They hire Sorensen. Like, going in this year, I thought they could have hit 30 wins, and that kind of sounds pathetic, but that puts into perspective how horrible, disgusting they were last year. They had 23 wins. I think they just surpassed their point total from last year when they won against Pittsburgh. It's like there's still a possibility they could finish last place. Like, I think they're 2 points ahead on the Sharks, but with a game in hand. So, like, if they just go 0-4 the rest of the way, they could end up with first overall pick. And yeah, it shows how much there is to go still, like how much there is for Davidson to do this offseason. Like, to me, you got to get 2 wingers to play in the top 6. You need a bottom 6 center because like Jason Dickinson was like battered, like abused this year. Like, you need more help for him and Connor Bedard and Frank Nazar. You need another top 4 defenseman. And still, I'm beating a dead horse by saying all this. Like, this is, to me, is the most important part, like, of Kyle Davidson's career, is getting the head coach. Like, technically, since he started here, I know there's interim coaches and whatnot, and like he hasn't hired all these coaches, but there's been 4 different head coaches. When Kyle Davidson took it over as interim GM, he fired Jeremy Colleton, and then you had Derek King go for the rest of the year. Then he hired Luke Richardson, and then now he's gone Andrej Sorensen the rest of the year. Like, time to get a real head coach. No more like hiring another NHL coach without experience, unless you're like just offering everything to David Carl and you really trusted him. Sure, if you're gonna go like that, go with a head coach like that. But like, how many more coaches are you gonna have to like fire and hire? Like, we said this, the seat I don't think is hot for Kyle Davidson, but it's starting to thaw. Like, this is such a huge offseason, and we've been seeing this like every offseason since Kyle Davidson's been GM. But the more and more you go on with a player like Connor Bedard, and you're not giving him support, and you're not giving him a coach to put him in a position to succeed, the stakes are just going to keep getting higher and higher. So yeah, you got to nail this offseason, and I think he can. Like, again, it's a lot. 2 top 6 wingers, I think they need a bottom 6 center. I think they need another top 4 defenseman, but like, on the other end of things, like, I don't mean to be all Debbie Downer, because there is a lot of promise. Like, this team just could take like a quantum leap next year, where Connor Bedard is like a 40-40 guy, Frank Nazar is like a 20-30 guy, and like either like Lev Shunov or Rinzel or both are playing huge minutes for this team and like getting 30-40 points. That all could happen. But yeah, there's still a long way to go, and I kind of want to hear your thoughts on the Blackhawks, because I think the only team that's been worse than them this past while is like the Bruins, because they're also in free fall.
So I feel like we're in a bizarre world, because usually you're the optimist and I'm the pessimist, but I guess I'll be the glass half full guy today, because yeah, they have flaws, but all I've seen is that this is what Davidson wanted. Like, his guys are getting implemented into this lineup now. You are seeing a distinct play style change. They are playing so much faster. They are playing so much more aggressive. I feel like there's not as much structure in the defensive zone yet, but that happens when you have a bunch of young defensemen. But I feel like
it's
in
very
transition,
free flow. Like, there's not a lot of cohesiveness. Like, I'm seeing a lot of great individual performances, but like, you can tell the players who are fast. Like, hey, this offseason, get more fast. Like, speed kills. Oliver Moore has been great. I think he's looked really noticeable. Had 2 assists, and in Washington that got overshadowed by like the Capitals winning and Ovechkin scoring. And like, Ilya Mikheyev is a 20-goal scorer. He's fast as fuck. He's got 20 goals, great defensively. Get more players like that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, you're hitting the nail on the head. It's I think it's a very fixable problem. You know where I stand on this. I think you have to go after one of the big fish this offseason. You have no excuse not to. If Mitch Marner or Nikolai Ehlers or Brock Besser hits free agent, Besser I'm a little more indifferent on, but if Ehlers or Marner's on that block, you give him a blank check and ask, what do you want? That you have to get someone to elevate Bedard's game. As much as I think you can get that through the draft, like, I've started to do a little more research on the top 4 now that they're pretty much locked in. And, I'm pretty content with if they get to 3 or 4, Porter Martone's the guy. That's exactly the kind of power forward this team needs, and he's so smart with the puck. Like, I don't know, when I watch him, I see the patience with like Dylan Strome's game. You know what I mean? Just on the wing, which is perfectly fine. And it's in a power forward frame. And I just think that could be so useful in this team, a lot more than what Hagens brings. Nothing against what James Hagens brings. I just think the Hawks have a lot of that in their prospect pool right now.
Yeah, if they drop to 4 and they draft Higgins, I'm fine. But yeah, top 3. I mean, if they get, I'm now at the point like I think if they get first overall, they're gonna draft Misa. I think they have to know
Michael Misa, no matter what.
Yeah, and like if they drop to 2 and Schaefer's there, like whatever you figure, like yeah, no NHL teams are gonna want to trade like their young wingers for young defensemen. No, like yeah, if you drop to number 2, draft Schaefer, obviously. But yeah, number 3, number 4, that's kind of where it gets to be a point. There could be a bit more variance, but yeah, at this point, like number 3, part of Martone. You need that because I don't think they have much of that in their system.
They don't, and I think there are other alternatives to making this team better, depending on the way the market shapes out. Like, I don't think he's going to go to a team like us, but like if John Tavares is asking for a steep 3-year deal, give it to him. Just give it to him. I don't care. I would think he's going to go chase a cup, but that's just me.
10 times 3, I would do that. I don't care. Like,
yeah, something
maybe that's
a
bit too much, but like something like that, like overpay for 2 or 3 years.
Exactly. You know, I'm just like looking at names that are going to be free agents this year, and it's like, you know, you're going to have guys that like obviously like Donato's an interesting one of who they're going to re-sign there, but you know, if you need a bottom 6 center, you know, guys like Jack Roslovic are going to be there. You can get a top 4 defenseman like
Dmitry Orlov.
Yeah, Dmitry Orlov. I mean, Ivan Provorov.
And maybe this isn't popular. I would get Ivan Provorov as well. Like,
yeah,
you know, other stuff off by stuff be damned. I would get him if it's a top 4 defenseman.
Yeah, because if it's a drop off. I mean, PS Suter reunion, like that could work. Yanni Gord, great bottom 6 ad, I think, if they could do that. But you just got to get guys that fit this team's mold. Like Andrew Mangiapane might actually be one of those guys if you need a middle 6 guy. But they're gonna have options. You just need to fill out the roster because I think if you could fill it around these kids, they'll do the rest of the work for you. I think you're seeing it already. Frank Nazar leads the team since January 5th, I think, with
easily their most chances, shots, to watch, and like been their best forward IMO.
Yep, like, and the chances are finally starting to cash for him. So it's really exciting to see that. He plays with, you know, the compete level is always there every night, and that's what you want out of every single one of these players. Like, yeah, the points don't show, but Slager competes every night. You don't see Moore take a shift off. You don't see Renzel take a shift off. Levshunov never takes a shift off. For God's sakes, he plays forward and defense out there. He's hilarious.
Bro, he is like so chaotic, but a good chaotic, like almost Cale Makar light, where like, yeah, he's all over the place, but you trust his skill to like make plays and like outweigh the risk.
He's the funniest player ever because like I'll watch him in the defensive zone and in the neutral zone and in transition. I'm like, yeah, that's Charlie McAvoy. Like he literally has the same fucking movements as McAvoy out there. It's exactly what we talked about when we were scouting him. But then he just has these moments where, like you said, he just lights it up offensively, and I'm like, McAvoy doesn't have that flair in his game. Like he's just his own prospect at that point. He's quite the dynamic player. I think Renzel's calm, his poise, and his decision making, and he's got really good skating that matches with Vlasic so well. There shouldn't be a doubt in my mind that I think both of them are going to get the chance to make it out of camp next year. One of them's definitely going to. I think both could potentially. And then it's just about filling that other role because, like, yeah, Kaiser's great, but if you could fill that with a veteran, that'd be nice.
And then maybe trade him or Del Mastro or like I know there's been a lot of like they should trade Korchinski. At this point, like just let him like play in Rockford. Like
he's 21, I think. Like
yeah, he turns 21 in June. I'm pretty sure he's like 4 days older than Sam Renzel, and I think that shows. Like I feel Korchinski is just kind of like going at a regular pace. I feel like Levshunov being 19 and like how we thought Sam Renzel being so raw of a prospect, like how like meteoric of a rise they've had. Like I feel we're so down on Korchinski. It's like no, those guys have just had a big rise. Korchinski is kind of just developing at his own pace. Like you keep him unless you like.
He's good at Rockford this year.
Mm-hmm.
And he's had his flashes in the NHL. I thought he had a good game last night. Or
he's just
better
he's a
than
20-year-old defenseman, man. Like,
yeah. I'm not
that's all
really
you can
gonna
really say.
lose too much sleep, and if we hit on 2 out of 3, I think that's a win at the end of the day. So
And truly, that's how drafting works. We were kind of talking about it last
it's a
night.
numbers game.
Like we talked about Martin Misiak, how like he might not be anything, but I'm pretty sure both like Lardis was drafted after him. Like Roman Cat, like you're like maybe Korchinski isn't that like maybe he's not like a top pairing like but like a top 4 guy, and Sam Renzel turns out to be this like top pairing guy, or Brock favorite defenseman like Frank Cervelli has said. And
He's
even
not
though like
wrong. I see it. Like not the
yeah
same play style, but impact
yeah
wise, I see
yeah
exactly what he was talking about now. Just didn't watch enough Minnesota games, clearly. Holy smokes.
And that kind of just for me that leads into the question like who are you excited for next year? Like who do you think is penciled into this lineup for next year? Like we haven't touched on, but Spencer Knight, like I
Oh,
think
crap. He is the guy. Oh, my God.
mhm,
He has kept them in every fucking game. And he's had one bad game. And the one
yeah.
bad game, if I'm being honest, Seattle was picking corners that game. It was like
Well, that's
perfect
what I
shot
mean.
after perfect shot.
I think I said this last podcast, but it was basically like playing goalie in ECHL against a very good team where like the opposing team is just cross creasing to death and just like having you dive across, having to make these saves, and they just like pinpoint shot, like just perfect plays and like picking corners and like wide open nets because you're having to dive across. Like I feel that's what like Spencer Knight and Arvid Soderblom were for those couple games against Seattle and Vancouver, but yeah, there's like still so much potential. I feel Spencer Knight coming into Chicago and him having that 40 save performance against LA, and then having another great performance against Utah that almost like set expectations too high. And it's like, no, this guy is still a 23-year-old goalie. I think he turns 24 in a couple of weeks. Like, but there's still so much potential. Like we saw with Arvid Soderblom last year, like the rise he's taken, and he's only a couple years older than Spencer Knight. So like goalies, it's a different learning curve. The fact that Spencer Knight is like 23, 24, and he knows like he wasn't the starting goalie for the Florida Panthers winning team, but like he knows behind the scenes like what the grind is to win a Stanley Cup. And I think I didn't read the story, but I remember, and I forget like who wrote it, but I remember like browsing through Twitter and just
It
seeing
was Ben Pope.
like
You're talking about the Bobrovsky
mhm,
story? Yeah.
yes, that's what it was. And it was saying like it was after Bobrovsky, I think, got pulled in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final last year, and Bobrovsky to Spencer was basically like, "Oh, that's goalies. That's what we go through. Like, you're gonna get shit kicked, but obviously, like Bobrovsky, he's a Stanley Cup champion, a 2-time Vezina trophy winner, and he's gone through like as much of a roller coaster I think as any goalie has. So yeah, to have Spencer Knight like what he's gone through in his life and like mentally where he's at, like there's nothing but promise. And I feel him have like goalies moving at the trade deadline. That's such a hard adjustment. I'm excited to see what he can do with a full year, with more structure and a head coach.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it's just an embarrassment of riches when you think about it. If they can have those two as their tandem next year, and you really don't have
And
to think
Kamessa's
about
been
goalie,
really good in the
and
AHL as of recently too.
and Brossois is going to be there as an option next year. I don't know if what ends up happening there, if I'm being honest, but if he's there, like
Nobody
you
on
have an
Island.
extra option,
Bang!
probably, for being honest. But it just really comes down to like you said, Kyle Davidson has to like. Yes, getting Teravainen and Bertuzzi, those are good picks. Like, here's the thing: the reality is, when he makes a move in free agency, it's been relatively productive most of the time. You just need to keep making more of
Except
them.
for
It can't
TJ Brody.
listen. Everyone has one miss. Like, not all of us can be Stan Bowman and have 4 misses in one offseason. Like it's crazy.
No, when did that ever happen?
Actually, just
nightmare.
Most mind-numbing GM ever. Could have signed Calvin DeHaan in 2018 and then traded Gustav Forsling for him 2 years later.
We won.
God, that does not get talked about enough. I don't care if he got waived by Carolina, but
that's just gonna keep going back to my point of get a good head coach. I've seen this for 7 fucking years now. Like what ifs are like what ifs to me are the 18-19 season and the 21-22 season. Like To me, if Bowman makes the moves that he does in 18 and 19 and they keep Quenneville as head coach, they make the playoffs. And 21-22, I think they make the playoffs. Like, they had the personnel, so and that's why, like, the point of Kyle Davidson could make all these moves. He could get a Mitch Marner, he could get a JJ Paterka from Buffalo, but if you don't have the proper coach to lead them along, like, what's the point? I mean, like, if they keep Sorensen at this point, like, what the you're like
I'm
signing
done.
death warrant.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. Soren, you don't post the article about Sorensen losing sleep. He knows the writing's on the wall. He's not getting brought back. He made his bed, and that comes from having 80 different line combinations for your best player. But what do I know? And it's crazy how, the young center is doing so great with the two wingers that you signed this offseason. But you couldn't do that with Bedard for at least.
No, we haven't said that on the podcast at
all.
Like,
how many times are we sitting there, talking about the Hawks, and I'm just like, why is Bedard getting the 2017 Taves treatment? Like, this is not okay. Like, this is ridiculous, bro. Like, Taves at that point, he played with freaking Hossa and Sharp for 8 years. Bedard's not getting that luxury right now, and it's kind of annoying. So, easy fix this offseason is signing someone to play with him. And I'm being honest, the cap's going up, but you still could offer whatever the fuck they want. Whatever the fuck they want. And clearly, with the way Scott Powers was talking about it, if these guys make it to free agency, it's probably money most of the time is the reason why. They want to win a cup, but also, I'd like to make $80 million on my next contract signing. 100%, dude, 100%. And if money talks enough, markets are going to price themselves out. We saw it with Dougie Hamilton a couple years back. We thought he was going to have this Stamkos. We thought he was going to have this crazy market. And he just went to Nashville because it sounded like he didn't have a lot of buyers.
And it's worked out great.
Yeah, aren't they in the playoff hunt? Oh, wait, they're right behind the Blackhawks in the standings?
Yeah, they won 12 in a row. Oh, wait, that's not.
Wait, you're telling me they can't go on these ludicrous runs and expect success? I would have never guessed this. But, keep making those mistakes, Barry Trotz. We appreciate it. The Hawks. But, man, we really did go off topic because I was just like, you were like, what Hawks are going to make the team next year? And it's like, the whole tangent is to basically say there's a world where more Nazar, Renzel, and Levshunov are on this team out of camp next year. And I think it is a very likely world because clearly Oliver Morse and Frank Nazar's speed at forward can't be matched right now. And Connor Bedard needs to go see a skating coach because fucking Christ, speed matters, bro.
What's her name? Connor Bedard needs to see Barb Underhill. I think that's what her name is. She's
an
Olympic
skater.
Yeah.
We need it.
Yes. That's what he needs to do.
Oh my goodness, dude. But I don't know. Just the more I watch the kids, the more I watch the way the team plays, you should let them play all year next year. Unless they play absolute garbage. I don't think there's a reason why you shouldn't, honestly. They haven't played Moore hasn't looked over his head. Levshunov hasn't looked over his head. Yeah, he's going to have some warts in this game.
They've all had
always going to be there.
Let them go out and learn. And with the head coach, that's the fine line. You're going to have to find a guy who can get this team to win, but thread the needle.
David Carl.
As well. Yeah.
David Carl. Keep coming back to it. He's coached a fourth of this roster, basically. Let him get his crack. And surely the last guy who coached Denver was really bad, probably.
No, he's
didn't
not
translate to the NHL well.
No, he's not coaching a team that won 65 games and then coaching a team that's won 12 in a row. No.
Yeah, literally world beater status, taking old Cam Fowler and re-injecting a 10-year fucking revival in him. I hate the Blues, dude. It actually frustrates me. They're gonna win the cup this year. Oh my god. They're either going to win the cup or they're just going to get steamrolled by at some point because they're going to run out of gas. But I don't think they're running out of gas at this point. Jesus.
No,
and they're really deep. But yeah, I want to take
Blackhawks.
No, I'm done talking about the Hawks. We made our points. Let's switch to the Blues.
Yeah. All right. Perfect.
Because I'm just looking at their team and they are ridiculously deep. They have 11 players with 28 or more points. That's really impressive. Cam Fowler has 47 games and he has 34 points.
That's crazy.
What?
Crazy. That's bananas. BANANAS.
Bolduc's been good. Neighbors has had a down year, but he's still good. Now, Dylan Holloway has 63 points, bro. Oh my God. This is crazy.
It's
bro.
like him and Robert Thomas have been some of the best players in the NHL point-wise since the Four Nations break.
Rob Tom.
My favorite Matchbox 20 singer.
Terrible. Oh my gosh. But both our goalies, like they have the potential to win the Jennings Trophy this year with the way they're been performing as of late. If they did that all year, I don't want to face them in round one. I can assure you that much.
Yeah, Winnipeg is thinking they're lucky fucking stars right now that they're so hot that now they've bumped up to wild card number 1 and we'll probably have to play Vegas.
Oh no! Jack Eichel versus the Blues. Unstoppable force meets immovable object because Jack Eichel's been on a tear too. So I would love to see that.
Vegas is
That's
also
not getting talked about enough. Jack Eichel's going to
stretch.
hit 100 points this year. Not
Yeah.
getting talked about enough.
Yeah, because Nathan McKinnon has 115 points, Nikita Kucherov has 112, and Leon Draisaitl has 106 points.
Yeah, but Draisaitl's running away with the Rocket. He's got 52.
Yeah, and even though they have been probably the worst team in the NHL down the stretch, David Pastrnak still has a 97.
Dude, he had a 5-point game yesterday.
Yeah, he had a hat trick. Yeah.
Holy crap, bro.
Yeah, hat trick and 2 assists against Carolina.
Dude, 97 points. Number 88 right winger going crazy for an original 6 team not making the playoffs in his prime. Welcome back, Patrick Kane. Holy smokes. Back like you never left.
And then, Magic Mitchie Marner, 94 points and 7.
God, but I certainly wouldn't pay this guy $13 million.
No.
Idiots. Oh, my God.
Be the
Just
first time he'll
fucking
hit
pay
100
him.
points in his career. Let's go.
Dude. It's not even just like get him for Marner. Like, think of all the situations you can use Mitch Marner in. The power play instantly gets more better than it already is, or a lot better than it already is, I feel like. The penalty kill, yeah, Marner and Nazar, have fun with that. Have fun with that. Marner and Moore on the penalty kill. Marner and Mikheyev on the penalty kill.
Yeah.
Literally, bro. Oh, my God. Gives his team so much more depth. And Ehlers the same way, just not on the penalty kill. He's just it gives that team so much more speed 5-on-5. And yeah, Marner's not the fastest skater in the world, but guess what? His brain moves faster than everyone else on the ice, and the only one that's going to keep up with him is the one that needs to, which is Bedard. So mentally, they'll be on the same page. And guess what? We've seen that work before. I'm not going to act like Panarin and Kane were skating people out of the building in 2016 and 2017. They were just being methodical as fuck with the puck. And that's all they need.
They being methodical and shit.
Literally, bro. Oh, my goodness. And it could be done. It can be done. Like, these players are going to be there to be acquired. Just throw the money at them.
Yeah, you're the fucking Chicago Blackhawks. Now it's time to flex your financial might.
It's not like you live in Columbus, bro. You have a market. You have a great market with a great fan base that clearly sees what the team's building. They were sold out on Sunday. The people are hearing what's going on, and it's that the kids are up, and this is what the future is. It's not just, hey, do you want to go see Joey Anderson? I know I did. Yeah, it's spring. What's it? April showers bring May flowers. I think the Hawks are about a season away from their May flowers, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, and they've gone from the 5th oldest team in the NHL to like one of the youngest teams in the NHL, just like that. Like,
yeah, we got Martinez. He's 25 now. Get excited.
We used the Sheet League de-age a player by 10 years, so we gave it to Alec Martinez. Oh my God! Welcome back, 2014 Alec Martinez. Let's go.
Can we do that with Brandon Saad and bring him back to the Hawks? That'd be awesome. Actually, fuck it. Let's bring Nick Schmaltz back and just make him a rookie again.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. You can kill the man, but not the idea. Frank Nazar is literally Nick Schmaltz with a fucking scoring touch. It makes me so happy.
I think like the most promising thing for me with Nazar is he gets to the inside. He goes to the net. Like, not bad for.
It's always been his game too.
Yeah, not bad for a 14th ranked prospect who's too small and will be a bottom 6 player probably because he can't keep up with NHL players and is too small and will get knocked off the puck and he's having I wouldn't say easy time, but like he's getting breakaways and he's getting to the inside. Like kind of to bring it back to the Blues, I think a good comp for him would be like a Robert Thomas kind of player. Like Robert Thomas is a point per game guy, a lot of assists. I don't know if Nazar's ever going to be a 30 goal scorer, but I can see him being like a regular 20, 25 goal scorer for sure.
I don't know. I think there's more of a scoring touch there than you would think.
I mean, he could hit 30, like absolutely. I'm just thinking like regularly. He's probably more like a 20.
Oh, he regularly is a 25 guy, I think, which is fine. Funny enough, like if we're going off trajectory of like what the Hawks had in their prime, like he fits the Patrick Sharp mold 100%. In terms of
both
just like what
good looking and smiles on their face and played singing center and wing
but like think about it, if that's his ceiling 65 70 points, god, we take that every fucking day. And he's two-way, he can play both ways, he can play up and down the lineup from what we've seen. Doesn't matter who you put on his wings, he's going to play the same way every shift. You need that consistency in your lineup. And you know, depending on how he starts next season, that extension talk is going to be really interesting because if I'm the Hawks, I am locking him down.
That's something I've kind of wanted to bring up to you, like Reese, because there's like the only player that's locked in long term is Alex Vlasic right now, and like obviously they got Tavo and Bertuzzi locked up for a couple
Tavo
more
had an
years.
A last night. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I hope we keep him for the rest of his career and like just quietly, consistently, like a guy who's getting 60 points. It's like I predicted that at the beginning of the season. Like he's gonna legitimately gonna be a guy that hits 20 goals, 40 assists for 60 points. He's gonna play on your power play and is gonna play on your penalty kill.
And if we were to tell you he was going to do all that with playing with Bedard like less than a fourth of the games this year, you probably would have been like, "Wow, okay, that's interesting. Yeah. Hawks must be pretty good."
Yeah. And like, despite all his inconsistencies, I think Bertuzzi's like on pace to have a slightly better season than he did last year with Toronto, playing with guys like Matthew, Marner, Nylander, and Tavares.
Man, I love Matthew. He's my favorite.
But I need to bring up the contract situation with the Hawks again. Not that they really have anyone locked in, but I just need to see like what contracts are up and like what players right now. Like I was thinking about this with Frank Nazar. What if Kyle Davidson just said, "Yeah, we're gonna bet on his skill. We're gonna lock him up right now." Like what kind of contract? I was thinking like I don't know, like because the cap's going up so much. Like if you gave Frank Nazar $50 million over 8 years, I think that's 6.25. Do you do that? Because I think Frank would.
I mean, yeah, Frank would, but
yeah,
I don't think you signed that extension in the offseason. There's not enough games to
lock. Yeah.
40 games is not enough to get an 8-year deal unless you're Mattias Samuelsson. But I think if he has a hot start to the year, you got to look at giving him like the Nick Schmaltz contract, which I think was 5.8 times 7. Like you give him that every time. And 6.25, I think he's really got to go crazy for.
Mm-hmm. That's just me. Well, I was thinking he's been up since December. Like if we're 2 months into the season next year and he's like taking more of a step, let's say I don't know, like he's like 0 point, like he's on pace to get 60.
Let's just say he's got like 20 points in 30 games. Mm-hmm. Like then you lock him up. You lock him up mm-hmm. and you don't even think twice about it because in a 70 game stint or whatever that puts him at like 50 point pace roughly.
Yeah,
and that's just scratching the surface. I feel like so. The defenseman, I think you got a bridge. At least in the meantime, unless Renzel or Levshunov go crazy in the next 2 years, like then lock them down. But like Korchinski, I think it's beneficial for both sides. The bridge.
Oh, he's getting a bridge. Like there's no debate about that. Yeah, like Levshunov and Renzel, I think there's more like we could get them on a Vlasic contract maybe or something similar.
No, they're gonna have to pay more for both of them, and you're gonna want to lock them down.
That's what I mean. Like
you don't want to play that second contract with a Renzel when he's like 25 and he's puts you in the Jacob.
No, but NHL teams don't pay for right-handed defensemen who are 6'5". No, we'll be just fine.
No. Certainly, certainly, Brandon Carlo didn't just go for fucking Fraser Minton in a first or whatever the fuck he went for.
Fraser Mint. who was
Praise
part
means.
of the trade with Sam Renzel, technically.
Then he got a hat trick in fucking Providence.
Yeah. And now he's on
Clearly,
the
the
NHL
trade
team.
has been won.
I I don't think we talk about it's so funny being on Puckpedia and just seeing Shea Weber at the top of the defense.
Legend. Can't believe he played so many games with Bedard. It's so crazy. That's why Levshinov's so good. He didn't know.
Yeah, and then Victor Soderstrom Soderstrom. Yeah, he's coming over. I was like Victor Soderblom. No, it's
Who
Soderstrom.
upsetting the Strum right now?
Real. I got a soda stream for Soderstrom. Let's go.
Apparently, Frank says that dude might have a chance to make it out of camp, which we'll see to believe. But I didn't think Louis Crevier would have played 30 games this year either. So what do I know?
Yeah. He's on payroll at this point, Frank Saravalli. Like,
dude, he is. Like, it's not even funny at this point. Like, what are they paying my guy? Jeez Louise. Got you.
I mean, it hasn't really been wrong though. So
no, keep doing it. I don't care. Like him and Emily Kaplan, keep breaking Hawks news. Good stuff. Better than. Yeah, don't be sod breaking news cracks me the fuck up because it's always something huge. It's never something small. He's like, oh, Taylor Hall trade. Whoa, this trade is way bigger than I thought. And they're just like, wait, what do we get for Taylor Hall? He's like, it's not that. And all of a sudden, three-way trade. Nico Rantanen. Jeez Louise. And then Taylor Hall's been the best player in that trade.
Yeah. And he might get an extension done with them. I was here.
Honestly, he should. Him and Stinky.
I hope he finds a home. On a team that at least
talking about him like he's a fucking homeless dog.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like
adopt this young child. Like, goodness gracious.
Like Squidward in that episode of SpongeBob where he goes homeless. He's like, spare change. He's like, what happened to all your paintings? No one wanted to buy them, so I had to eat them. But back to the conversation about the Hawks contracts. I was reading an article from Scott Powers on how like the Blackhawks don't really care if they let like a year of an ELC slide. Like if this was the Blackhawks back in 2019 or whatever earlier than that, and they had a type of player, like they're keep doing everything they can to not burn that year and like save precious years of like ELC. Whereas now I think like they let Vlasic's contract slide, I think in 22. And had they not do that, like if they kept them on another like year of what he like too many words right now. Like if they so like say if Vlasic had another year on his ELC, like he would still be making like league min right now, and then he would get his contract. Like if we had to sign Alex Vlasic this offseason, like probably 6 or 7 million and not 4.6. So you're burning a year.
It was like if you looked at him and Jones both making 7.5, he'd be like, "Oh, that makes sense." Mm-hmm. It's like no, it's actually he's just on one of the best deals in hockey. But yeah, that'll be talked about in like 2 years. Don't worry.
Like at this rate, with like how the market's probably going to go, he's going to be being paid as a third pairing defenseman. So yeah, like with Levshunov and Renzel, I don't know if Renzel's contract's going to slide for next year, but yeah, if you can get them to like if you can basically did what Nashville did with all their young defensemen, just lock them up, that'd be so nice. But you're probably gonna have to be paying like 5 or 6 million per year.
That's the sad reality. Like, and that's the reality of why you got to have these conversations about locking these guys up, because with the way the cap's going, yeah, $5 million player is not going to be a $5 million player in a couple of years. That's going to be like a $7 million player. So do you want to take those chances, but also, God forbid, one of them doesn't pan out and you got $5 million on the payroll for the next 7 years. You know what I mean? Granted, the Hawks are in a position to where they can take those chances, but that down the line, that's going to limit you from taking a shot on a big free agent. Down the line, it's going to limit you on a contract extension. So you really have to be careful about these things. That being said, you still throw the sun and the moon at a Mitch Marner or Nikolai Ehlers.
Guys who have been doing it, yeah.
Guys who are proven. Exactly. So I think you can only take so many chances with these guys, and Nazar is going to be the real needle mover on just how confident. I think obviously Bedard's like I don't think Bedard's going to sign 8 years. I don't think he will. It's not beneficial to him, if I'm being honest. I think he might go the Matthews route of signing like 5 years and then just cashing out when he's like 25. Because I think that's just the thing that players are doing now. But hey, who knows? Maybe he fucking does the Crosby route and goes 9.8 times 8.
I
Get
don't
excited.
know. I just with how Bedard was, like how he didn't want to trade a Regina, like that makes me more optimistic that he would want to sign like maybe not even 8 years, like 6 or 7 years. Like that would be fine. But yeah, if you're like doing 4 or 5 years, it's like yeah.
Listen,
Like,
I'd
at the
love for
Black.
him to do. I'd love for him to do that, but like it's just the reality of how these stars are. Granted, I think
Mhm.
Matthews is the outlier there.
That's what
A
I
lot of these
mean. Like
guys just lock up.
I still think a lot of NHL players are going to take like security over like testing themselves on the market. Like I think there will be more, but there's still going to be like it might be just be half and half. I don't know. You never know what a player's intentions truly are, whether that's like if they want to take less and win or just like really make how as much money as they can.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see everyone eat, but at the same time, I need to see my team win hockey games. So
Yeah.
whatever route we can go about both of those would be great. Thank you guys.
Like the best way to do this would be Connor Bedard announcement on his 20th birthday, 98 million over 8 years, 12.25 per. Like that would be like the best way for both sides. Even if I would say Connor Bedard is not a $12.25 million player, but again, with the discussions we've
That's
had
another reason
earlier,
why I think
yeah,
he's not going to sign 8.
hmm
He knows he can make more money. Like he knows
yeah,
if this team gets the support and he gets the guys, he could make 15 mil on his next deal, like
yeah,
legitimately, and it's going to be worth every penny. So it's up to him if he wants to take that security now or take that 4 or 5 year, 3. God forbid anything less than 4, because then I start getting just annoyed as fuck. But he takes that 4 or 5 year deal and just cashes out, and then you have Bedard till he's 33 in his prime on a great deal at the time. It just depends. Um, Maybe he takes that team friendly deal, maybe he doesn't. I just think with the way he's had this season, it's going to lead to some conversations because, like, if this is his worst year, fuck, if you're the Hawks, you better lock him up long term because this is like it's bursting at the seam of what he can be. And yeah, he needs to be better 5-on-5. But, like, at very worst, this guy is what Patrick Kane was for the last 7 years of his
Oh
career.
no, a Hart
Oh,
Trophy
no, that's a
winner,
guy who gets
a
90
Conn
points a
Smythe
year. You put him,
winner, yeah.
fucking Christ.
He's playing into
Just
his
put
late
some,
30s, yeah.
yeah, like Bedard's gonna be fine. Bedard's gonna be fine. And I don't care what contract he signs, it just better be more than 4 years.
Even like 6 or like again, ideally 8 years. Like obviously, if I'm Kyle Davidson, the Blackhawks, I'm doing everything I can to get him locked up. But yeah, Bedard might not be so much. Like oh, let's wait a little bit, see how the next year
Exactly.
plays out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens though.
hmm Yeah, we we wanted to talk about the Blues, and again, it just went on a tangent to the Blackhawks.
I said what I needed to say about the Blues. They're good.
Yeah, um, yeah, the like monkey paw thing for me as a Canadian, it's like, oh, we need to win this tournament, and it's like, oh, but then Jordan Bennington goes on a heater, and then they wins the Blues another cup.
I've won, but at what cost?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like again, like kind of link the Blackhawks and the Blues back together. It's hard to like the Blackhawks who just have torn it down. It's hard to see teams like St. Louis and Washington who are kind of been competitive the entire time that the Blackhawks are, and like they're pushing for playoff spots, and they could go on deep playoff runs where it's like, as a Blackhawks fan, we've watched 3 years in a row of just being at the absolute bottom. So it is kind of tough to see another team, potentially living your dream.
It's a double edged sword. You know what I mean?
hmm
I think the Hawks are very beneficial to be in the spot they're in for what they
Yeah.
decided to do. If I'm being honest, because let's be a cynic for a second. My favorite thing to be. There's a world where they didn't win the lottery either year. There's a year where they picked fourth and they got Will Smith. There's a year where they picked fourth last year, and they picked who was fourth last year. I don't.
Kane
Oh yeah,
Lindstrom,
Caden
but they
Lindstrom.
probably
I
would
would
have
have
gone
been.
Davidoff.
But Caden, look what's happened to Caden Lindstrom, and I loved him
hmm
as a prospect. But like
hmm
now, there's actual concerns about if he's. I mean, I think he's going to Michigan State next year, which will be cool. But
I think a lot of CHL players are doing that. Like Michael Misa's going
Mark
to.
Martone's
DC,
going
I
to go there
think.
next year too, I think.
Yeah.
So, or he's at least getting interest. It's NIL money,
Mhm.
dude. They're going to get paid. Like, might as well, you know.
Yeah.
But that's the question that you have to ask. Yeah, they could have been in a situation where you like, because I was mapping this out one day at work. You know, you could have had, in essence, your top six would have been at the time DeBrincat, Strome, Kane, Hagel, Taves, Doc. That would have been the top six if you kept it, which is serviceable. That's fine. How they attack the bottom six going forward, I don't really know because I don't know how they would have drafted. You know what I mean? Like it's there's so many different realities that could have went down, and I think defense still would have been the most glaring issue, which is why I'm a little more okay with what Davidson did. Because even if he didn't win those two lotteries, the defense he's accumulated would have still led to a good team, I think. But like they are in a really good spot. If bare minimum, you have your 1C, you have your 2C, and you have two really good right-handed defensemen, and you have a goalie. And you have a good left-handed defenseman too. That is such a good core to build around with so many different prospects that can be intertwined into this roster perfectly. Like you look at a guy like Nick Lardis. If Nick Lardis hits his ceiling,
Bit of a
that's
wild card, but who knows? Like it's
dude.
promise.
If he's even just like Nick Robertson, awesome. Let's go. Like
For a
that's such
third
a good
round pick,
addition to this
fuck yeah,
roster.
yeah. On an ELC, like you're gonna need that in the
Exactly.
future if you're gonna start paying all these
Dude,
guys.
you look at Oliver Moore. Worst case scenario, he's the best 3C in hockey for you. I think he's got top six potential just for what I've seen from his vision and playmaking ability. Put him on the wing with Nazar and just laugh your way to the bank. Put him with Bertuzzi and just
I
say,
still
"Hey,
think
Bertuzzi,
like
park your ass." Sorry.
I was gonna say if like Oliver Moore again is like a Chandler Stevenson type player where he can get 60, 65 points. You're probably not getting more than 20 goals, but just a guy who works his ass off, is fast, and can get to like play up and down your lineup, center or winger. You take that.
Exactly. And I really think they're in a good spot right now. And you're getting a top four pick. Like, even if you don't hit on any of these big free agents, you're getting bare minimum James Higgins or Porter Martone in the system. If they go off the board, I would hope it's Anton Frondell, but I don't think I don't even
I
want to
don't
think
think
about
they're
that.
gonna go off the board. They haven't done that, so I don't really have a reason for me to think otherwise.
But like, dude, there's a reality where we're looking at this team this time next year, and it's like, oh, they're really making some momentum now. Like I think someone brought it up. Like they could have the Montreal progression in a sense,
That's
where
best
like,
case scenario. Like that's the most recent one. I was also thinking of like the 2017-18 Avs. Like the year before that, everything that went wrong for the Avs did, and I feel like a lot of things have gone wrong for the Blackhawks, and it's just like
oh, you're gonna love
you
my
want to
next
like
one.
have this gradual like again, that's why I said like 30 wins could be realistic. Like you go up 7 wins from last year, like they might not even finish with more wins than last year, but then they could maybe jump up to like 35, 40 wins next year. Just again, take a quantum leap. Everyone goes off.
So I'm gonna go with something that I think is probably their projection. I really hope it's not Buffalo because that would suck, but I don't think it will be.
That's kind of
Um,
worst case scenario. Yeah.
I look at Ottawa right now,
Mhm.
and Ottawa hit their crater in 2020, 2021. They had 23 wins. It was not good whatsoever. They, just bad season all around. Um,
Bad
they
vibes really
yeah,
just around that organization, and like now only the like over the last couple of years have they fixed that.
but
Like
it
they might
took
make a
like
divisional spot.
exactly, and they had they had a 3-year stint where they had like 33, they had 39, they had 37 wins. I think the Hawks are going to go through that growing pain. I think
Hmm.
it's just a reality with the way this team plays. I don't think they're going to like New Jersey. I think is a perfect example of what the Hawks can end up being, which is you have that meteoric rise and then you fall right back down to earth because
Never linear. Yeah.
that was a season from heaven. You know what I mean? I was
Everything
looking
went
at
right. Yeah.
Dude, yes, I looked. So I don't ask why I was down this rabbit hole, but I was looking at New Jersey's like players because I was like, holy shit, Jesper Bratt's got like 68 assists this year. I just thought that was crazy, and Heishire's got 35 goals. Um, the year they made the playoffs, Bratt had 90. Hughes had like 99 points. Heishier had 85 and 40 goals.
And he's like a Selkie
Dougie,
guy too.
dude, Dougie Hamilton had like 70 points. Like, yeah, there's going to be a year where the Hawks do all that. Is it going to be next year? Maybe. Maybe if they get Mitch Marner, like there is a world where they have Mitch Marner and Michael Misa opening night next year. And we look at this team and we're like, holy shit,
Two
we're ready to
MMs.
fucking
Let's
rock.
go.
Dude,
Yeah.
NBM, dude, let me tell you. Freaking, but there's a world where we look at it like that. There's also a world where Kyle Davidson sits on his hands and says, let's ride it with the kids. And I can't be mad at that. Like, yeah, let them grow together. But there can't be a world where it's like, we're just going to sign a bunch of mid and we're going to send all the kids to Rockford and it's just another gap year. Like, it can't be that. It can't be that. You either have to pick a direction where you're going full youth, and full youth requires you to make a trade for someone who's under 24, in my opinion, or Jack Quinn, or you sign a big free agent and you say, we're making moves to win it. We're making moves to make the playoffs now. Any other direction, I think, is a mistake. But I can get behind a full youth movement next year, I think, just by what this team's done. Yeah, they're going to have growing pains. Yeah, they're going to have a streak where they just get fucking creamed for 5 straight games because they don't know structure and whatnot. But that's how they're going to learn. That's how they're going to learn, and they're doing it the right way. And if we really want to get into it, this is how the last Blackhawks regime built their team. They all got chemistry in Rockford together, and they started getting called up one at a time, and then you just added the big pieces in towards the end. This is the time to add the Kane or the Taves. This is the time to add the Hossa. This is the offseason to do that. You have the chance with potentially a top 2 pick and potentially throwing a bunch of money at a free agent. You can do that this offseason. You just have to make the decision to want to do it.
I feel like, yeah, I didn't want to sound like I was pessimistic at the beginning of the podcast, but like to me, that's just the reality of the situation. Like, there is a lot of promise, but there's still a long way to go, and that's inevitably like all that is its promise. And you kind of talked to we can always play the what if games with like teams of Blackhawks past, like the 18-19 season or the 21-22 season, and you can do that with lottery. Like, what if they don't win the lottery with Connor Bedard? Like, I even think if they have an Adam Fantilli or a Leo Carlson, like, I'm viewing this whole thing differently. But to me, they just got gift wrapped such a unique player, like level player with Connor Bedard. I just feel you gotta explore every route you can to make this team, like, to help make this team take that giant leap and just stay there and be a great team. And I've said so many fucking times, like, what is the money and the draft picks for? Again, like, that's not going to get you everything, but that's going to allow you to like overspend on a Mitch Marner free agency. And like, as far as the coaching end of things, like, hearing what David Carl has said, like, he doesn't need to go anywhere. Like, he's perfectly fine with coaching at Denver. If you throw like 5 times 5 at him, maybe even more, you're the Chicago fucking Blackhawks. You can do that. So yeah, it's why we harp every offseason like this. Like, Davidson needs to like make this team better. Like, it's such a unique situation. I realize how good this team can be, and like, you got to unlock Connor Bedard's potential, and if you can do that, I feel like everything else will just fall in place with this team.
Yeah, because I think when we were talking to Will Scout, he basically put it perfectly. They've drafted a little bit of everything, and with that, it allows you to get creative.
Right, yeah,
yes, it allows you to get creative. But think about it. They have the best pool, and they're about to add a top 4 pick to it, and another first-round pick, and 3 more seconds. That's if they don't trade any of them, which I think they're going to trade some of them. From what
they have to, you have to.
Well, I mean, that's what Davidson said after the Jones trade, right? He said, "We're not acquiring picks anymore. We're trading for players." That's what gives me faith. I think a trade like the Seth Jones trade really shows you where Davidson's mindset is with this team. You got to think for a second, because yeah, there's a world where you just trade Jones for picks, and you don't get someone who can impact the team right now. But no, he went and tried to get a number 1 goalie in Spencer Knight.
Could be your franchise goalie right there. Like, this could. I talked about how, to me, him hiring the head coach is the biggest thing he's ever gonna have to do. Like, to me, like, Seth Jones, like, that trade is like a franchise altering move right there. Like, I still think it's already huge, but it has the potential to be like maybe the biggest trade he ever makes, or most important trade.
Well, yeah, I'd hope so. You literally traded. You got rid of the anchor contract.
Yeah,
I don't think he did something that I don't think either of us thought could be done in this regular season going into the year. Mm-hmm. I think we were all just dreaming like, holy shit, let's just hope he gets so mad he requests a trade, which did happen, which did end up happening. But I mean, it was always going to happen, I feel like, at the end of the day. Oh, this is not what I signed up for. Oh, you're telling me when you signed with the 2-star players that were 34 that they weren't on the come up? Man, that's so crazy. But granted, there's a world where they have DeBrincat, Strome, Hagel. Like, that's literally a top line in hockey right now if you fucking put those three together as your top line going forward. But ifs and buts, candy and nuts, I'm pretty comfortable with where this team is right now. Obviously, an offseason can change that one way or another, but I just think they have such a unique, like you said, they have such a unique situation. And I get where you're coming from. You have to make moves when you have a generational talent like Connor Bedard, and you see the talents there and the stuff he's doing on such a plagued roster in terms of how they're just utilizing him and implementing him in the lineup. And he's still back-to-back 60-point seasons, probably going to break his total in goals and assists last year. You can't help but just think, like you said, get that right. You have the rest there. Like you potentially have 2 right-handed defensemen that are really fucking good. You know how rare that is? That's so rare.
We talked about this a while ago. Like, I think of like 2 homegrown right-handed defensemen. The best I can think of is St. Louis having Pietrangelo and Parayko.
Yeah, and McAvoy and Carlo. I think those are the only 2 that I can think of.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's it, though. That's literally it. You see a lot of people get 2 really good homegrown left-handed defensemen, but that's different. It's such a luxury.
Keith Johnson,
and I think it couldn't be better that, they both play fast. They both play aggressive, but they have such unique play styles. They're not the same player. Levchinov is just this fucking – I don't even know what to call him. I call him a wild card at this point because you don't know what you're getting with him every shift.
He's a rover out there. Yeah.
Dude, he'll literally be in the corner fighting for a puck. I'm like, yo, you play defense, right? And then he's back and he covers the rush and he gets a stick check and knocks him off the puck. Renzel is just such an incredible skater and he has such confidence in the offensive zone to shoot the puck. I think that's such it gets like, point shot defenseman. Whoa, Tyson Barrie. This isn't Tyson Barrie. This is not Tyson Barrie with the way he uses his vision and he uses his size. And I didn't even get to mention it on this pod, but all I noticed, Nazar played great. Mikheyev played great yesterday. You want to know what made me the most happy yesterday? I think every time Sidney Crosby got the puck, Stan Renzel just pickpocketed him like it was nothing. Sidney fucking Crosby. He was just handling like it was nothing.
And he handled another Nova Scotian player pretty well. Like, he was going stride for stride with McKinnon. Like, and you said earlier, like, that's how these guys are going to learn. You got to play against the best. Like, you got to get thrown into the fire. Like, Levchinov played his first game against Colorado, and there's going to be growing pains. But to, finish up the point, I don't want to, I'm trying to be realistic. I always try to be a positive. I always lean towards being a more positive person. There's so much promise with this team. Like, this is not even bringing up, they're going to have Nick Lardis in Rockford next year. Like, Sacha Boisvert might sign by the end.
Sacha Boisvert's in the transfer portal right now. Mm-hmm. He's probably going to BU or Michigan next year. That's gonna be sick.
Mm-hmm.
Dude,
might be even better for his development.
Hear me out. We end up drafting Misa or Bartone. Him and Boisvert go to the same school next year. They both sign. Do another Renzel more. And then they just get a whole year of building chemistry in college together. Need it so bad because people forget Moore and Renzel roomed for 2 years together in college. Mm-hmm. These guys all know it, and they all know each other from the U.S. team. I just don't think that gets talked about. They're building a culture right now, and that's why I can't really get mad at. Yeah, they blew a lead against the Avs. Yeah, they blew a lead against this team, that team. You have to do these things to learn, and if that's all they need to fix, guys, we just need to have a strong third period and I think they did it against Pittsburgh. They didn't sit on their fucking heels.
Fucking penalty that Bertuzzi took.
But listen, you sign a Bertuzzi, you're going to get a couple of those every year. I'm content with that. But it's more so the fact that they didn't just turtle. You know what I mean? They didn't turtle. They were pushing offense up until the final 5th minute of the game.
Yeah.
And that's what this team should be doing because they're so much faster than everyone, especially at least with their youth. Obviously, the fucking old players are the old players, but I can respect that. Nick Foligno's not going to be fast, but if he's one-on-one with the puck, he usually comes away with it. So I'm not too mad about that. He knows how to use. He knows his speed. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. He knows where he needs to be.
Maroon, guy is one of the slowest, if not slowest player in the NHL.
I got mad respect for Maroon's hands now.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
hands are sick. And
Mhm.
then like another guy I'm gonna give a shout out to because I just think he's actually been pretty decent lately. Joe Valeno's actually starting to kind of hit his
I
stride as a
think
Hawk.
I'm intrigued by him. I think he's got a spot on the team next year,
I mean,
especially with
he's
that
signed next
review.
year. He's at least an extra. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
he's been put up basically everywhere in the bottom six, and he's producing. He's making the most out of his ice time, which is all you can ask for out of a player of that caliber. And he's still only what, like 25? Like, yeah, you
yeah.
keep that player around, obviously, and you got him for getting rid of a goalie that probably was never going to play for you again, unfortunately.
No,
Oh no, but we lost Craig Smith, guys. Clearly, it affected Lucas Reichel.
damn, darn.
But yeah, like think about it. Like this is why I get excited about this team next year because we're gonna keep talking about the Hawks. I don't care. I've been wanting to do this all week
It's meant.
since the
It's
kids have
meant.
been called up.
It's a good cathartic rant because we haven't talked about the Hawks in a couple of weeks. Like we haven't like we've texted, but it's another thing to like talk, even if it's just over Xbox or on the pod or whatever.
Facts. Because like I just look at the way this roster is right now. If you sub out Kurashev, one of the bottom six forwards, probably Slaggert, if we're being honest, and then there's going to be someone else that gets taken out of that forward group. If you replace three of those forwards with better players, dude, that's a fun forward core to watch next year. Like that's a fun forward core, and it gives the youth less pressure if you get those wingers that you were talking about. Like, yeah, you know what would make Oliver Moore's life so much easier if he had someone to play on his wing that is
Nick
NHL
Wheeler's.
caliber.
Or Mitch Marner. Or
Well, like,
Paterka.
I think it's more just like we can bump people down the line. You know what I mean? Like, dude, there's a situation where there's a third line next year of Mikheyev, Moore, and Reichel, and we're just like, holy shit! Like, try catching that line. Like, just try catching that line.
Yeah.
There's also a world where that's their fourth line, and I think if that's their fourth line, holy shit, that's awesome. It just depends on what pickups they get. You know what I mean? That's why Sorry, what?
I wanted to ask, where are you at with Reichel? Because I think he's destined to be a bottom six player at this time. It's just we've gone through two different head coaches now, and they just don't have trust in him for whatever reason. And the other day he did miss practice, which like you can't do that. But it almost feels like for me with Andre Swords, it's like, oh my god, I have a reason to scratch him now. Like it just seems none of the coaches have liked him or have given a chance. But I also think he hasn't been particularly bad, but I don't think he's been great to warrant like a top six. Like I feel we've been clamoring to be like, just glue Reichel to Bedard and let them figure it out. They don't figure it out, then like trade him or whatever. But you still got 1 year left at 1.2 million. Like maybe a David Carl does help him out and helps like unlock his potential. Maybe not like to what it once was, but maybe he is like a third line speedy guy who can get 10, 15 goals, maybe play on your penalty kill. I don't know. I want to hear what your thoughts are with Reichel.
I feel like my thoughts change on Reichel every month, and that's fine because like that's just the kind of controversy that a player like this brings, and you have to. I think the reason he has this much controversy, he's one of the last first round picks of the Bowman regime. I think he was the first one of the youth movement, so a lot of people are like, "This is the guy we want to see succeed." You can see the traits to make a good player there. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if he's a fourth line winger and he just brings a fuck ton of speed to the lineup, I think I'm okay with that. I think I've just come to accept that.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, if that's what he is, he makes the most of his ice time in that role. Like when he was in that fourth line role this year, he actually was pretty good. Like that was where he saw the success in his game, and like certain analytic crews would show that. I think it was Rono or whatever his name is on there on Twitter. His analytics are great defensively on his charts. I don't think there's a reason you should give up on this player. He's not going to be the top six guy that we thought he was. That sucks.
No,
because
not.
I thought at the end of
I
thought at the end of 2023 that season, I thought that was like the turning point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He had that nice end to the season with like Athanasiou and all that, but he's had his chances. But granted, I don't think he's had enough chances. Like if you really wanted to test him, you put him on the top six for a whole year and let him sink or swim.
Yeah, that's been my thing. For both of us.
They kind of did last year, but they put him at center, which I thought was the dumbest thing in the world.
No.
Yeah.
He's not a center. That's straight up. He's a winger.
I don't know. I would still keep him. Like, I would still keep him. He's got 20 points. He's had 21 points, and he's a fourth liner that hasn't played every game this year. I think that's valuable, at least
And he hasn't
above
got any
face
kind of
value.
power play time either, has he?
Nope.
No.
Probably for like 5 games, maybe.
Maybe here and there, yeah, but not a lot.
But like he's always like he's getting a little more aggressive on the puck every year. I don't know. I'm not like if they get rid of him, whatever. But I think
I mean,
he's
what do you
still a
even
valuable
get
fourth
like
liner.
at this point? You might as well just keep
I
him
think he's
and
an add-on
play
to
the year
trading
out.
for a bigger player. That's really what it
Mm-hmm.
is. But I don't think that's a situation that the Hawks will put him in. And I think he's still going to be on the roster next year just as that 12th, 13th forward. And I don't think there's a problem with that at the end of the day. If he can understand his role, which is you're fast as shit, get the puck up the ice, and if you have a shot on the net, please shoot it. You have good hands, you have decent vision to see these things, but I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe he is like your Boris Kachuk or Taylor Radish throw into a trade to get a star winger, maybe.
Yeah, because he's got 21 and 66. Like,
For a
it's not
fourth liner,
great.
that's not horrible.
Yeah, for a
That's
fourth line,
pretty
that's
good
what you
actually.
want. That's what
Yeah.
you want on your fourth
Yeah.
line. That's what I'm saying. And if you get those forwards that you were talking about, that's probably where he slots in the lineup. And that's okay, in my opinion. That's okay.
I feel like we've touched on about just about every player. Like we haven't talked much about is Ryan Donato. Like where are you at with that? Because I think that like I've brought this up. Like they've traded Brandon Hagel and they've been trying to like find Brandon Hagel, whether that's through the draft or free agency. And like Brian Donato is kind of just like a Walmart Brandon Hagel. Like he's probably gonna hit 30-30 this year. And there's no way he's gonna hit that again. I get that, but let's even slash that in half. Like let's say he's a 15-15 guy for the next couple of years. Like, do you sign him to a 4x4, like a 5x3 or whatever? But I would like to keep him, but also know like if he wants to go to the market and really test how much he can get, good for him. But then we saw the trade deadline, like no one wanted to give up even a second round pick for him. So maybe it's just like good for both teams to get it done and him for to stay in Chicago.
Once again, this is another guy where it's like right now you have the luxury to overpay, but
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah.
term is where I get stuck.
Yeah, they
Because
could pay
if
him.
it's
They
more
could
than
go six
4,
times two, and I'd be like, whatever.
dude, who knows? Maybe he like realizes that he can do something crazy and just sign like a 6-year deal at like 3 mil. And then it's just
Nick
like
Paul
cool.
contract. Let's go.
But like that's becoming more common when you think about it. Like you look at the McCabe contract. Like a couple years ago, you don't think Jake McCabe's getting a 6-year deal at 32, but
I forgot it was 6 years. Yeah.
that's the reality. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you can these contracts are going to be more manageable. So I think if you can talk Donato into taking less money but giving him more term, that might benefit you at the end of the day, if we're being honest.
But yeah, like he's 29 goals, 30 assists, which is incredible. But like he's bounced from team to team. Like he played Boston, Minnesota, San Jose, played a couple years with the Kraken. I don't think he's gonna be this, but I'm looking at the 2 years he put up in Seattle. He had a 16 goals, 15 assists season, then a 14 goals and 13. Like I think we're seeing more of that. But even if you get that and like you give him 5 or 6 years at like 3 point whatever, like I would do that. Like you need guys that want to be in Chicago and guys that are clearly like bring incredible work ethic. Like you got to instill that in someone like an Oliver Moore and Frank Nazar and a Connor Bedard and all the young players that are going to be coming up.
100%. You have to. It's a cult. It's a play style. He. It's another one of those like you have to get players that care every fucking night, and he does on the worst team in the league. You can't. It's hard to find that sometimes. That's all I'm gonna say. That heart is really hard to find sometimes. And yeah, if you got to bite the bullet on the back end of the deal, maybe do it. I don't
The
know.
cap's going up so much, and like it's supposed to be at 113, I think, in like 3 years. I think like it's going like meteoric.
I love it.
Finally,
It's
like about goddamn time.
seriously though, like it just needed to happen so long ago. The cap needed to go up so long ago, bro. Oh my goodness, we're back though.
But yeah, like Ryan Donato, he's gonna be 29 in a couple of days. Like, yeah, you sign him to 4 years. That takes him till 33. It's not as if you're signing him when he's already at 32 or 33 years old. So they've given Nick Foligno 2 years, and he's almost in his 40s now. So yeah, if I'm like, I think they said they have an offer from like I think it was 4 million over 3 years on the table. So I wonder if they like he takes that or if they work somehow. I think he stays though. I think I think both sides are gonna realize like that's kind of a match made in heaven. I think Ryan Donato wants to settle down.
Yeah. His family loves it here. You can't understate that, I feel like, ever in a situation like this, in my opinion.
And again, it goes back to the thing of like you never know what a player's motive is. Like everyone has different motives, like whether that's family or like security, money, like wanting to win a Stanley Cup. Ideally, like you balance all of those and get all of those. But yeah, maybe Ryan Renaud just wants to stay here, and maybe he can be like a veteran guy when this team starts making the playoffs.
I hope so. Because his play style is going to last on the fourth line. That's
Mm-hmm.
why I'm not like too hung up on it. Like it's the same thing with a guy
Yeah.
like Dickinson. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like, yeah, Dickinson making 4 mil is not ideal, but like worst case scenario, that's your fourth line center next year.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good. You know what I mean? Um,
He's got the
and you need
versatility
that.
too. Like you can put him wing center in a pinch. You can put him power play and penalty kill. Like you can play him up and down your layout anywhere.
Yes, sir. That's why he's so valuable. It's that flexibility, and Donato gives you that too. He's got all these situations where he could be just you can put him on the fourth line, you can put him on the top line, you put him on the power play, you can put him on the penalty kill, put him wherever, he's gonna produce. And it's hard to find that sometimes. It's just a reality.
Yeah, and again, like I want this team to like make big moves this off season. Like to me, it's not even like a thing of oh you have to do this. It's like to me, you got the hard shit out of the way. Kyle Davidson can go and have fun and get these wingers. Like that's the fun part now. Like you get to like decorate the house now, and like yeah, you got to get probably another top four defenseman, but I mean, maybe they just run the defense that they have right now. I say they get another top four defenseman in there because I think they might trade one of the young defensemen into. I know how NHL front offices work. They're not going to have like a whole defense of under 25 years old besides Connor Murphy. So that's why I
God, I
think they're going to
wish.
do that.
I wish. It'd be so much more fun.
It would be cool. I don't see that happen. But who knows? Kyle Davidson could do that. Like you can
And
go out and make these fun moves, like get a center in free agency. Maybe like you get a John Tavares, or maybe you go like more like Yanni Gord or Trent Frederick. Like I would like to see them go after a speed center or like an annoying center to play against, where it's like, oh fuck, I got to play against Yanni Gord, or oh shit, I got to play against Trent
be
Frederick.
careful what you wish for. You're gonna pay fucking 8 mil for Sam Bennett at that rate. Be so careful what you wish for.
Listen, like
Watch,
if it
watch
was,
Parker.
would you do like an 8 times 4 with Bennett? Like I would consider it. I don't know if I'd do it, but it's like it would make me think.
Fuck, he's got 50 points this year. That's interesting. But also, like Ryan Donato has more points than him this year.
Yeah, that is
That
true.
like, here's the thing. How old is Sam Bennett? He's not that old, right? He's
I think
28.
he,
Okay.
well, I think he's the same age as Donato. I think they won the same draft, 2014.
No, Donato's gonna be 30 this year. I thought.
He's gonna be 29. And
But
anyways,
like,
his birthday's in 2 days, so
I don't know,
but
man.
yeah,
I get real concerned if you're giving Bennett anything north of 6.5. And I'm just being steep there. I still wouldn't give Bennett 6.5. Like, that's a player where it's like it could work for you, but then he could also get hurt and be out for a year and a half. So, because he's done it before.
I think you're very like with a player like Bennett, you're paying for the intangibles and just the style of the play. It is very risky because like
This is his
he's only
career
played
high
a
in points.
yeah that and but like also he's always like he's a Stanley Cup champion. He's matched up against like other players' top lines while on the way to like back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. So like he does have that je ne sais quoi, as they say. But yeah, I don't know if I would invest like anything more than like 4, 3. I would even say like 3 years, really. with just how he
He's
plays.
he's been a completely different player since going to Florida, but
Hmm.
um,
That's Florida, man. Yeah.
dude, like he's got Tyler Bertuzzi numbers.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
giving him more than what Tyler Bertuzzi makes? I don't
Mm,
care what the intangibles are.
yeah, exactly. And like he can
Because
play
here's
deep,
my
but
thing:
like,
if you
yeah.
give such a shit about intangibles, go give Trent Frederick $3 million and call it a day.
Well, that's what I mean. I
Like,
would rather just go after Trent Frederick or Yanni Gordide. Bennett's not really on my
get
radar.
Tanner Deneau and let Rose go into a psych ward, please.
I would like Tyler Janot too. Like
I would
again,
too. I
pain in the
don't
ass
mean that as a
guy.
bad
Yeah.
thing. Fucking, you kill the player, but not the idea. I don't give a fuck if Pat Maroon's retiring. We're just gonna get a younger one.
10 years younger. Yeah.
Fuck yes, dude. Like they just need a brute on that forward core. And I don't know, it's not gonna come from getting a high end signing. It's gonna be from getting a bottom sixer that's just a shit. Like who is gonna be this team's Dave Bolin? That's what it's low key Nazar, but low key Nazar probably, but I don't know. Someone's got to be the shithead on this team. So I get why getting someone like Bennett would be beneficial.
It's
But
appealing
like,
for sure.
okay, I've got my limit. If he gets more than what Tom Wilson's making, I'm out. Tom Wilson's making 6.25. If you're getting more than that, fuck off. Go sign. If you're getting north of $7 million, get away from my franchise. We do not need that.
I was
We do
thinking
not
he
care.
might get the Chandler Stevenson contract where I think you get more. Like I could see some team being fucking stupid.
Yeah, and I'm not giving him 8
7.7.
years
No.
or 7 years or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Not a chance.
Either way, too long. Yeah.
Not a chance. And he's signed till he's 35 then, but it's the number. Because if he falls off and he's making 7, God, that's an anchor. That's an anchor down the line.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like, hey, what if Sam Renzel pops off and he needs $9 million on his next contract, but you're paying Sam Bennett 7?
Well, we can't do that. Yeah, we're paying.
Guess we got to trade him.
Yeah. No, we don't. We don't.
If you're gonna take the swing north of $6 million, it better be on Mitch Marner or Nikolai Ehlers or Brock Besser
or both. They can do both.
Also, I think a name that's not getting talked about enough, and his name was in trade rumors. If Jared McCann is on the block,
I've been saying
this.
Yeah,
go get him. Go get him. I don't give a crap if he has 20 goals this year. That's a guy who is going to get 60 points no matter where he plays. Just go get that. And talk about a guy who would be flexible in this lineup. Can't play center, can't play wing. Has scored 40 goals before. Like, great on the power play. Multiple time 30 goals scored. That's what you need. Like, Pierce, when you talk about 2 top 6 forwards, in my head, I'm thinking you need 2 Jared McCanns. If you get 2 Jared McCanns, this team gets taken to a whole new level. Now, I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like Ehlers and or Marner, like that's cherry on top. Like those are, I mean, especially in the case of Marner, that's a superstar winger. I think Ehlers is like a first line winger. I don't know if I would call him a superstar though, but
dude, he'll get 70 points with Bedard.
He would be this team's best winger though. So that's
100%.
Yeah, and
Ehlers and Teravainen
absolutely
gross.
Yeah, and kind of to further your point about Jared McCann, like. In Seattle, like he hit 40 goals in 22-23. I don't think he's gonna do that again because he was shooting at 19%. But if we're going more to like his career average, 21-22, 13.6 shooting percentage, 27 goals. Last year he had 29 goals, 80 games, 13.4 shooting percentage. This year, oh no, only 20 goals in 77 games, a little lower shooting percentage at 10.4. So like if he even you get him and he's like a 25-30 goal scorer. You do that. And to me, Seattle's a team that might like want to just sell off a draft picks. Like how many teams right now are like, oh, we could trade that Toronto pick and then some, like just straight up for a player. Like to me, Seattle's one of the few teams where I think you can do that this year. Because I think teams want to get better as opposed to
just traded 2 firsts for Bjorkstrand. So
that's what I mean. I wanted Bjorkstrand so bad.
And McCann's locked up 2 more years. So it's worth making that move.
You got Berkeley Canton coming on the way. Like you do have guys in the system coming up. Like I think they would want to get off that contract, and the Blackhawks can do that. And he is.
I need to make the biggest note about Ehlers because he's been consistent, like Money in the Bank, 50, 60-point guy.
Yeah.
The biggest
With
thing
no
that I
ice
always
time
noted,
though, and no power
thank
play
you.
time, or like
Took the words out of my mouth, dude. I was like, let me go look and see what his highest year in ice time is. 18 minutes. You're playing 20 minutes a night if you're in Chicago, probably, or at least 18. You got to think the point totals go up if he's going to play more. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Marner comes to the team. Yeah, you expect 80, 90 points every year from him. Like, period. End of story. Ehlers comes to the team, dude. There's a world where he's point a game just because he's going to get more ice time. He's going to get more looks. He's going to be on the top power play. Like, these things matter.
He's a fast player too.
Look at Necas, dude. Necas is getting all the opportunity now in Colorado, and he is taking off. And we knew the skill set was there. It was just he wasn't getting deployed like a top line player.
A fast player now playing on a fast team with a bunch of skill.
Literally. Yeah, and that's why this is like we keep hammering the point home, but like this is, I'm not going to say it's an easy fix. It's a doable fix. It's a very doable fix.
I don't want to say
this isn't impossible.
To me, I don't think they're going to get Marner, but I think it's it could happen. Like they could do it. Like Kyle Davidson, like again, there's so much to go, but Kyle Davidson can nail this off season and get everything they need. Like it is possible. There is a path to do it. You just got to be willing to probably overspend a little bit in terms of money and draft picks. But
you overspent on TJ Brody, so I know you. I know you know how to overspend. But
that's what the money and the draft picks are for.
This is why I'm so hell bent on just paying Marner whatever he wants, because like we just talked about Sam Bennett. Like I'd be so concerned to pay that guy more than $6 million. Dude, the fact that people are saying Besser's going to get 9 and his highest, he's never gotten more than 55 points in one season. Dude, come on.
That's a little too much.
Now, if you get Brock for 7.5, I think 7.5 is my peak there. I don't think I can go higher. If they give him 8 mil, I'm out. Like you just paid 8 mil for 25 goals in Aura. Congratulations. Like,
I mean, it's always going to be the term. Like, if it's 8 times 3 or 4, I'm fine with it. But yeah, if it's more
8 times 4, I'll take that. Yeah. But he's 25 or 28 or something, right?
Yeah. Well, all these players we're talking about are like in the same age because like
Brock Besser is 28. What the fuck?
And like Nick Ehlers is gonna be 29. I'm looking at Jared McCann. He's gonna be 29. Same with Sam Bennett. Like all these guys we're talking about same age range. They went in the 2014 and 15.
Why you take a chance on the guy who's got more longevity, which would be a guy like Ehlers, which would be a guy like any of. It's That's so not Sam Bennett. Difficult to it's so difficult to make that call on someone who's got hard miles in their late 20s. Like it's like it could be an Anders Lee contract, which is Anders Lee. I'm going to be honest, like. Probably been pretty good for 7x7, if we're being honest, towards the end of his career. Like, could have been way worse, but it could be a Kyle Okposo route as well.
Yeah. It could just be that entire 2016 free agency.
Yes.
Like Milan Lucic, Andrew Ladd. Yeah,
Andrew Ladd just falling off a cliff. Like, these are the things you have to take into account when you're looking at signing a 29 or 30-year-old player that has hard miles, that has missed time, that has missed like a guy like Besser who's had multiple big injuries.
Yeah.
You have to take these things into account. Although, like, God, if they had Besser on this team, it'd be fun. It'd be fun.
Brock Besser's a lot of fun, yeah.
Besser with Nazar.
Yeah. And we're talking like again, I think I brought this up last podcast. It's hard to quantify. Like this team needs to get faster, needs to get better. I also think they need more guys with chip on their shoulders. Like it's hard to quantify that, but to me, Brock Besser is going to be a guy with a chip on his shoulder, just kind of with how Vancouver management has handled really every player. But like I think Patrick Allvin being like, "Oh, we couldn't find any takers for Brock Besser." Like I don't know if I want to go back to that. Like. You gotta identify people like that. I mean, however you want to, I guess.
Agreed.
What do we think about going offer sheets? Because I'm open, like, especially if they get a Michael Misa this year, I'm fine with like trading that 2026 or first round pick or like giving it up in an offer sheet if they get an elite player.
I'm looking it up. Hold on. I need to see the 2025 RFA class.
Because to me, like, the way to do this is do what St. Louis did last year, but then other teams are going to try to do that. But I was looking at it like Toronto, you offer sheet Nyes and Robertson. Like maybe you don't get both, maybe you don't get Nyes, but hey, maybe you get a Nick Robertson. Like at least force a team to make a decision. And I was also looking at Buffalo. Maybe you offer sheet Byram and Paterka. Maybe you don't get Paterka, but maybe you get a Bowen Byram and you trade like one of your young defensemen for a wing or something. Like
Hear me
they
out.
got the money in the draft picks to do it.
Hear me out. I'm about to go crazy with this offer sheet. Because you want to talk about
knock my socks off.
You want to talk about not crippling, but handicapping a team.
That's what
but
St.
also
Louis
making your team better.
Year. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's this? And there's already been smoke behind this player being in trade talks.
Mm-hmm.
Why not just go offer sheet Marco Rossi?
Yep. That's another
and
good
give
one.
him like $8 million and just make it to where, yeah, you really got to think about doing this before you sign Kaprizov next year. Really think, and you got to extend Eriksson Ek. Really think about this, Minnesota.
Yeah.
And then if you don't get him, they're paying Marco Rossi $8 million.
So fucking what? Yeah, like at least that's what I mean. Like force a team to make a decision at the very least.
Yeah. Mason McTavish. I think that would be very interesting if they offer sheeted.
One. Yeah. Talk about your center core being Bedard, Nazar, and
holy smokes! Move Bedard to the wing at that point. Like,
yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
And you still got Boisvert coming up. You still got Oliver Moore. You can like play at center wing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are the only ones that really stick out right now. I'd probably have to look at the defense just to see if there's anyone else that sticks out. But, oh man, they already have a bunch of right-handed D-men. But if you want to get spicy,
they could get Bouchard or Dobson.
Yeah, dude. Luke Hughes is an RFA. Like, if you really want to get creative, dude. Like,
it's like whatever. If you get another right-handed defenseman or left-handed defenseman, then you can trade from that. Like, that's the thing.
You get Michael Misa, and then you sign Luke Hughes to like $9.5 million, and you just fucking do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if Luke Hughes is not a $9.5 million player. God, if you're top four, and then Korchinski is like you're just flex 5. That's like your Eric Gustafson, Nick Leddy. Like if Korchinski is the Nick Leddy of this team, God bless. God bless, dude. God bless. Because a top 4 of Vlasic, Rinzel, Luke Hughes, Artem Levshinov. You don't even have to keep talking. Like, you just know that's disgusting. And that's, like you said, this is why you need to get creative, because there's options out there. God, I wish Wyatt Johnson didn't get locked up. Gabe Velarde's another one that's interesting,
that would have
especially
been my
if they want
to
re-sign Ehlers.
Yeah.
Who, Velarde?
Gabe Velarde too. That's another great. Like, yeah.
There's options. There's options. For sure there's options.
Again, that's why, like, it's not easy, but like there are options out there. There are so many different ways
creative.
to go. Yes.
Get creative. It's not hard.
And sure, like, not even offer sheet. Like,
Xavier
I would still try to go for Elias Pettersson. If you can pull a trade off without giving up a Nazar, like a Rinzel Levshunov, I make that trade. If Boston is going crazy like 2015 again, they just trade their young. Like, I would be like, here are my next 3 first-round picks unprotected for Pasternak, and we'll throw in like Korchinski and like Nazar.
I trade Frank Nazar for David Pasternak, and I love Nazar. I don't care, dude. If David Pasternak's on the market, give him whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah,
give them whatever the fuck they want, and you glue David Pasternak to Connor Bedard for the next 8 years, and no one cares. And no one cares. Like, promise you, I don't care what the return is in the Pasternak trade if they get him. Jesus Christ.
I think
we just talked about it. He has 97 points on a shit Boston team, where his top line mate is Morgan Geekie. Sorry, I had to add that point.
30 goal scorer Morgan Geekie.
Stud. And that's not against Morgan Geekie. It's just like, that's the reality of what Boston is now. Sorry.
I think Pasternak is in that tier. Again, same age range. Like, I think he's in that tier of players where I don't think you can overpay him money-wise or like asset-wise to get him. Like, I think he's that good of a player.
This is like, you know what the equivalent is? This is like if after 2018 the Hawks traded Patrick Kane.
Yes.
Or after 2019, let's just say. After the year he had 110 points.
Yeah.
But they stuck. That would be what the equivalent is. Except Pasternak is like 4 years younger.
Yeah.
a little dangerous. It's a little dangerous, and I'm not going to pretend like it's not possible because Miko Rantanen just got fucking traded this year. So
No.
we live in a world where these guys can't get traded.
And it's wingers too. Like that's the easiest thing to get. As much as I love Brandon Hagel and Alex DeBrincat, and I think Brandon Hagel's a very unique way. I would love to have him on the Blackhawks.
Hagel's the outlier, man. I love Moore, but fuck, he needs to be like. I'm so serious. Moore and Boisvert need to be 50-point guys. Like for me to just, at least be happy.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing: if they could both be middle six guys and be contributors, and like Moore's a stud on the power play and the penalty kill, Boisvert's just this big hulking third 3C that can score goals. Cool, but like. Brandon Hagel is doing unfathomable things in Tampa right now in terms of just his 5-on-5
he
play.
is. He would have been Bedard's ideal winger, but I also think
do not remind me. Yeah, it actually makes me so mad how perfect of a winger he is for Bedard. Like, God, and you can't play the what if game with that. You literally can't because there's a whole other season that had to have been played to get Bedard. So who knows? That Hagel would have won the Hawks at least 4 more games that year. Like, let's be honest. If he's with Taves and Kane, but it's just like. They are a perfect match. And if you could find the Hagel equivalent, maybe it's in your system. Who knows?
That's what I mean. Like they've been making all these draft picks, getting these speedy, fast players. You're like, you just hope one of these guys gets.
Maybe it's literally the fucking. It's the mystery box Family Guy clip every time. Hagel's got 82 points in 76 games. He had 75 and 82. He had 64 and 81 in just 3 seasons in Tampa. I don't know, guys. Maybe I was wrong about that 22% shooting percentage. Maybe being over-exaggerated because he's been.
Maybe he's just good.
Dude, he's so good. He's elite. I'm not even going to say he's good. He's elite.
Yeah. Dude, he was on Team
Good
Canada,
for him.
And he's going to be at the Olympics next year, too.
Dude, 100% should be. Like, it's just nuts that he has got 82 points and 9 of them are on the power play, dude. You know how crazy that is?
No power play goals, right?
None. He's got 3 shorties, though. Ilya Mikheyev, that's
I was just going to say almost as good as Ilya Mikheyev.
Oh, man. I love it because it's like there's Brandon Hagel and then we have just Ilya Mikheyev. He's just the Walmart version. I love it. I love Mikheyev. I'm not saying like it's a bad thing. What did I text you a couple days ago? Who tore their knee last year and has just come back from it? That's the guy that we're going to pick up and is going to be a stud.
Surgery. Yeah, we got to look that up.
Honestly, I'm going to do some deep diving on that. I want to know who had a knee surgery in the last year. That's going to be a free agent. It's going to say Sam Bennett, and I'm going to fucking rip my hair out.
It's literally like the Toy Story scene, like when he's looking at the 8-ball, don't count at it. Oh, it's just like, who's that injury? Sam Bennett. Oh, yeah.
Dude, I don't know why the meme's becoming viral again, but the one of Woody like turning around and being like, you! When someone finds a tweet that says like, I am Steve from 2013. You!
So I was in the city of Flint and I found steel there. Tweet from like 2007.
Steel.
We were talking about the Xbox the other night, and I'm just like fucking dying because all the movie is from what I see is just Jack Black like saying what items are in Minecraft.
Apparently, it's Brokeback Mountain. So I'm actually so pumped to see this.
Do I go watch the Jack Black and Jason Momoa sex scene?
Whoa! I'm sorry, I saw a clip from that movie, and there's no explanation besides. There's no explanation.
Chicken jockey.
They're on set. They're just like, let's be really gay, and it worked.
Yeah, instead of like a chicken jockey, a zombie being on a chicken, it's the other riding cock. Huh? Yeah, because
Nightmare. Just kidding.
So funny. So you want to talk about the Montreal Canadiens? They've been on a pretty good run, huh?
Dude, Lane Hutson's gonna win the Calder.
Oh, he should.
He's been so good. Like I can't even troll anymore. Like he's got 64 points, dude. and he's playing a 1D role as a 21-year-old, and it just makes me laugh. It makes me a little salty that we were sitting there day 2 of the draft, and you were just like, "When's Hudson gonna get picked?
Dude, I
When's
literally
Hudson gonna
had
get
him.
picked?"
I had him in my top 15, man. Like, talk about like all the misses. Like, I think I should be in an NHL front office because I think I have more hits than misses, if I'm being honest.
Dude, there's a world where they had Sam Rizzo and Lane Hudson in the same draft, and Kevin Korchinski.
Oh my god, that would be crazy.
Holy shit, dude!
This year's Calder winner, next year's Calder winner. Okay.
Okay, this is epic. All right. Sorry, next year's Calder winner was Michael Bisa. He's skipping college.
You're right. Just another guy from college hockey. Oh, by the way, you should just draft defense from college hockey. That's where all the good ones are coming from now.
Or at least if you draft them, send them to college hockey, unless it's Sam Dickinson.
Yeah.
Sam Dickinson.
Yeah.
But Montreal has been nuts because you look at the season that they've had, I feel like they've just slowly started to accumulate chemistry the whole year. And Nick Suzuki's got 84 points this year. Caulfield,
and he's
at one
going to be
point,
on
was on
Canada
pace
next year. Yeah.
Oh, has to be. Like, his defensive game should put him on there. A guy who I think you talk about that bottom 6 center, I think Christian Dvorak's going to get a lot of noise this offseason. It's a guy who's from Chicago.
That's right. He's an FA.
He's finally going to come to Chicago with the Nick Schmaltz trade, guys. It only took it only took 8 years. But
like past us from like almost 10 years ago, we're thriving. Like Joe Veleno is on the Hawks now. We're gonna offer Marco Rossi.
Tell 2018 us we have these things, and we're just like, yo, we got to be so good. There's no way.
And we got
Veleno with Kane.
Yeah.
We got Veleno and Seth Jones. Holy
my
shit.
God. We got Erik Karlsson from Pittsburgh. Oh my God.
I'm sorry, Pittsburgh? Got out of the time
you're like, hold on.
Yeah. I just saw him lose on the Senators to the Penguins. What do you mean? Oh my gosh.
And Jakub Dobeš is going to be their Yaroslav Halak, and they're going to upset the Washington Capitals in round 1. Woo!
1.
Welcome back, 2010.
Oh, yeah. Also, we didn't even talk about how Patrick Laine is just the memeiest player on this team.
Yeah, he's literally a power play merchant, but he's the best power play merchant there ever was.
Got 20 goals in 47 games. So beast. He's so beast. He's got 15 power play goals. He's such a
if I'm being honest,
merchant.
The Hawks could have used that this year.
Dude, that's so beast. Oh my God. It cost them Jordan. You're telling me the equivalent is even Ethan Del Nastro in 2 seconds for Patrick Laine.
I wish
that's basically what it cost.
I wish they did that.
Golly. You could have put Bedard on the right circle and Laine on the left and just said, try stopping that. Or just and then Bedard and Teravainen could rotate. Oh, fuck. Whatever. I digress. Patrick Laine is a beast. That's all I got to say about that. 33 and 47. What a guy.
I'm glad he's had injury issues, and I know he's had mental health issues. So it's great to just see him back and scoring goals like Patrick Laine. We know.
Fortnite OG comes back and he starts going crazy. Coincidence? I think not.
I think not. Yeah.
No, but I want to see the Habs. Low key. Fuck. I wish the Habs could play the Leafs in round 1. God, I wish that would be fun again.
Too. That would be fun too. Oh, 2021 2.0. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but I need it to be the Sens. It has to be the Sens.
We need a Battle of Ontario. We need a Battle of Florida, Carolina, New Jersey, whatever. Even Washington, Montreal would be fun to watch.
Oh, you're thinking of all these rivalries. I'm just thinking of how the Leafs will have lost to every division.
Oh, well, both in that case. Yeah.
Oh, and Detroit, but that doesn't count. They stink.
No, they're worse. They're mid.
They're
the really worst thing you can be is mid.
Hey, if you ever want to look into that glass window about the Hawks, that's probably more what they would look like if they would have kept everyone.
Yeah.
Which is just the Minnesota Wild. Get excited.
Yeah.
So would you rather be the Wild or, someone from the Miners with a fuck ton of picks? I don't know.
We talk about how the Blackhawks just suck this year, but there's at least 5 teams off the top of my head where I'm like, I'd rather be the Hawks than them. So
Yeah, I agree.
like,
Also,
I'd
like,
rather be the Hawks.
can we hire whoever the Sharks have for like propaganda? Because it's crazy.
The definition of like empowering versus put a shirt on, flirting versus harassment, whatever. Like
literally,
I was texting Ben the other day, for our good friend Ben, and I was just like, I'm so tired of like I think it's cool that the Sharks and the Blackhawks are kind of at the same stage where like, oh, Sharks got Celebrini and they got their other guys, and the Blackhawks got Bedard and their other guys, and it's just like, oh, the Sharks are such good vibes, like they're gonna be so good, and the Blackhawks is just like, yeah, everyone's miserable there. I'm like, so great. The Sharks are content with losing 60 games a year, and the Blackhawks aren't. But can we just shut up?
Dude, they're so ass. The Sharks are so ass. It's like
they're worse than the Hawks are, and we're talking like, oh, everything is a sunshine, rainbows, and lollipops there right now. It isn't. Like they both suck, and they still have a long way to go. But I think there's a lot of optimism. Everyone's like, Connor Bedard looks miserable. Like, what NHL players look like they're having fun out there? Connor McDavid looks miserable all the time. Quinn Hughes looks miserable all the time. So does Nikita Kucherov.
Miserable all the time. Like, that's so true.
Like, who are the players that look happy playing hockey? All I can think of is wingers. I think Ovechkin
Jason
looks
Zucker.
like he's having fun. David, yeah, sure, Jason Zucker. David Pastrnak looks like he's having fun. Marc-Andre Fleury, I think, exemplifies that. But like most of the top players, like look like they're just robotic, no emotion. That they just look pissed off all the time. I would put Draisaitl in there too. Like, yeah, I don't get why everyone's like getting on, but they're like, oh, he looks miserable. I'm like, no, I just think that's how he looks.
That's my face, sir.
Yeah, that's my face, sir. Yeah. Anywho, do you got anything else to add? I think we can wrap this podcast up. We've been going for almost 2 hours down. But that was my favorite.
I think my favorite was you texted me before we started. And you're like, "Oh, it's gonna be a short one. Don't worry." No, it fucking wasn't.
I forgot about that.
It was never gonna be a short one. We had way too much to talk about with the Hawks right now because all the kids are up. Like, this needed to happen.
Dude, all I want is like, let's not like bring any numbers. I just want this team to be competitive, like going into like the new calendar year. I'm tired of this. Like, oh, it's over by November.
Race to 30 wins.
Exactly.
Going on 4 years now, baby. Let's go. Yeah. We haven't had 30 wins since pre-COVID.
Yeah. I think the reason why I've been like so fat, like if they just started there's a difference between sucking and like rebuilding. Like better way to put it, like being bad on accident, being bad on purpose. Like this team is designed to lose. This team was never designed to make the playoffs. But hey, like at least we've crossed the bridge now where the young players are on the team. At the beginning of the year, I remember being like, oh, how cool would it be to have Lev Shunov, Rinzel, and Moore on the team? And now we're seeing that, and now we're like watching them. Oh, like they can hold their own. Whereas the years before that, it was like, oh, they're bad on accident. Like this team had aspirations to make the playoffs and win the Stanley Cup, and they couldn't get it done. So I feel it's just those years being added on to like 3 straight years of like barely getting 20 plus wins and trying to get over the first overall pick that have just made me like so fucking tired of losing. Where I want Kyle Davidson to look at every option possible to make this team not even a playoff team, like a team that's competitive in January and February. I'm tired of fucking being out by November.
You're going to fucking hate what I'm about to say. So there's another reason why I'm pretty okay with them sitting on their hands one more year. Because if you're telling me if they're going to be basement dwellers one more year and they get Gavin McKenna and then you take off, cool.
There you know what I mean? They're like, I want to win.
Worst case scenario, they're in the McKenna sweepstakes. Get fucking excited. There's no losing situation next year unless they're in the same spot.
I just want them to win. I mean, if they get McKenna, that's nice. But to me,
I want them to win too. Like, trust me, I'm tired of watching them lose 4-2. It's getting annoying. Like, someone needs to teach this team how to play 6-on-5. I'm actually so sick of it. Holy shit! Both ways, actually, both ways 6-on-5 because they can't defend 6-on-5, which is wild to me because they're really good on the penalty kill. But whatever.
I've said this is just like this team should not be how it is. Like again, never a
No.
playoff team, but this should be a team that like their power play is good, their penalty kill is also good. Like the problem is
So
that
ass 5-on-5.
like the referees hate Connor Bedard. Like let's not even like I don't even want to get into that.
It's not just him; it's the team. They're the least penalized team in the league. This isn't, and like you know what that comes from? One, not having the puck on your stick. Two, not being a certified. Like there's a reason Nazar draws penalties. It's because he's always got the puck. He's always got the puck, and he's always making
handling it.
Dude, I think the perfect depiction of why this youth movement's going to be so much fun. There's a reason Cale Makar looks Mikheyev off on a 2-on-1 shorthanded and is so focused on Nazar.
They already know he's a good player. I think that's the ultimate sign of respect right there.
And he cooked Letang.
When Cale fucking Makar is like, oh, I got to cover this young guy who's been up in the NHL for half a year.
Dude, and then in the same game, the guy leans over the bench to talk to Murphy. He's like, who the fuck is number 6? Yeah. Because he's just blowing by everyone. Like, this is why this team's going to be exciting. And it's not like they're all up and they're getting their ass kicked. They're in close games every night.
To me, at the worst, they're holding their own. Like, they don't look out of 100%. Place. That's all you could really ask for a bunch of 19 and 20 and 21-year-olds.
Factuals. Actual factuals.
Anywho, do you got anything more else to add? We're at 2 hours now. I think we can wrap this up. Very short podcast, by the way.
Very short. Honestly, they just wish we could have an Avengers Endgame like podcast. Certainly, it doesn't ever happen. Ever.
No, we need our Minecraft movie.
My coworker saw it. He said it was fun. He said it was really good.
We got it. Okay, we're going to Florida. It's less than 2 weeks now. We got to see it in Florida.
No, we are seeing it. Like Nick and I were in a party last night planning out Monday. That's what we're doing Monday. We're going because Nick was like, I want y'all to have a fun time watching it. So I think we're gonna go bowling beforehand. I'm gonna get Connor and I.
We gotta go at night. We can't go where there's like kids there. It's gotta be like teenagers and young adults where we can just go fucking
exactly. Crazy. We have to. That's the
plan.
We
can't be in the TikTok where they're like pausing the movie, or there's that one guy that sounded like Banksy, like, I'm gonna have to refund everyone their ticket.
Dude, I'd hate my job if I had to deal with this shit. Oh my god. Oh,
I would too. Like I feel bad.
Like this is worse than Avengers Endgame in terms of just the
literally that's Cap picking up the hammer. It's a chicken shock.
Dude, I hate how fried my brain is because my coworker was like, oh, I haven't seen the trailer for this yet. So he's watching the trailers, and every time one of the buzzwords hits, I just start fucking chuckling. I'm just like, he's like, Plankton, steel. And I just go,
big old red ones. They love crush and loaf.
Takeoffs.
All my TikTok is right now is that it's Omni-Man, like the Omni-Man.
Dude, I sent you a mixed meme of that today. There's literally oh my god, I'm actually gonna become schizophrenic. Like they should have banned TikTok. Jesus fucking Christ,
point, man. Also, like the occasional Frank Heffley at it.
Oh, there was a lock on that door, and you all made me think I was losing my mind. Oh, I'm going insane. I'm actually going insane. Are you sure?
On that note, thank you for tuning in. Give us a 5-star rating on your preferred podcast platform, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, Google, whatever they have it nowadays. Check us out on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button as well, and also hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss out on any new video podcast or video clips from podcasting. If you don't want to watch 2 hours of this, you only want to watch 10, 20 minutes, that's fine. Anyways, I really got to pee. For Pearson Dillon, take it easy, y'all. We'll talk another time. Peace.